Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Bill Michaels Show. I am Bill Michaels. Ben Kenny producing the program. Good to have you on a day that is stunning out, breezy out, nice reprieve from the humidity from yesterday. Looking forward to Wednesday Night Live tonight. Love Monkeys on the stage out at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. Good news, bad news, and just stuff in general today. That's what we've got. Just a lot of stuff. Coming up a little bit later on today, we're going to talk with Dave Kallman. He is the race reporter for the Journal-Sentinel. We'll talk with him about what transpired yesterday. The rumors were true. And for many of you that brought it up and said, and we talked about it, The Athletic, a very credible source, very credible, outlet, so to speak, had gotten wind that NASCAR was considering Chicago. And certainly you thought, come on, really? They have Chicago Motor Speedway. It was a dismal failure. The attendance was terrible. Chicagoans just didn't give a damn about it. And to race through the streets of Chicago, are you kidding me? And they're going to do it. NBC is driving the train. Just an FYI. NBC wants this. NASCAR obviously trying to compete with Formula One and the popularity that Formula One has garnered through the Netflix series. And they just feel that they're losing their lion's share of the hold when it comes to viewership eyes. So they want to take it to where they can say it's a big city. A lot of people are going to watch it. It's going to be unique. It's going to be different. So they stole the race from Road America and NASCAR next year. It is not going to be the Quick Trip 250. It is going to be down in Chicago, racing through the streets of Chicago and around Grant Park and around the fountain down there. And they're gonna race there instead. A lot of the drivers, from what I understand, very not happy about this. They understand it, but not happy about it. It's what they consider not real racing. You're racing on streets in a city. It's just not, while it kind of looks kind of cool, I guess, vantage point wise, it's not good racing. They like the racing. They like the up and down that Road America offers. They like the road course. That's a more pure form of racing, and many people have talked about it. So throughout the week, I'm sure we're going to get more reaction, but we'll talk with Dave Kallman of the Journal-Sentinel coming up today a little bit later on this afternoon. So we'll get to Dave coming up. Then you had the All-Star game last night. Ben, did you stay and watch the entirety of the All-Star game?
Nope. No, I went to sleep at about the fifth inning. Once David Ortiz walked through the dugout and said nothing, I figured it was my time. Plus, I was getting up early for the morning show. So I liked it. It was enjoyable. It's baseball without stakes. It's fine. But no, I did not see the whole thing.
I watched it until about the eighth inning, and I started to doze a little bit. I did as the game went on, and the American League took the lead 3-2 in the fourth inning. Once the American League took the lead, I thought, oh boy, I wonder if we could end up with a tie. And after Stanton homered and Buxton went yard, I'm thinking to myself, could we end up with a tie to where we now have the home run derby? The thing that you and I talked about yesterday, which I would have hated. And then I was like, you know what? Who cares? And I went to bed. It was still it was entertaining. It was somewhat boring, I guess, if you're a National League fan. They played it 2 runs early on, and that was it. After that, they mustered, five total hits on the day? That was it. It was basically, it was good baseball in the sense that you saw all-stars and you saw really good players. Saw some decent defense, saw the shift, saw guys not be able to hit out of the shift. Everything that you've seen throughout the season, other than the fact that some guys were mic'd up and running around with earpieces in, which now it's getting even more hokey. And the purity that was the All-Star game for baseball is beginning to diminish rapidly, in my opinion. But so I ended up going to bed. So that was pretty much it. After, Bettis singles to center and Acuna then scores. And I thought, okay, here we go. And Goldschmidt came up and he homered to left center. I thought, okay, it's 2-1, 2-1 or 2-0 National League. Here we go. And that was pretty much it. That was it after that. They didn't really do too much. 3 hits after that first inning. So I'm sure if you were a fan of a lot of offense, you're probably yawning and going to bed. It just wasn't exciting. It was a good game in the sense of, a 3-2 game, the purity of baseball. But it wasn't exciting by any stretch of the imagination. So reaction to that, if you'd like to, feel free. And then we got some Packers stuff. Packers getting ready for training camp. We are now, can you believe we're 50 days away? 50 days away from the opening of the NFL season. 50 days away. Also, the notation was made for the Hall of Fame, in case you missed it, but they announced the order of inductees, and Leroy Butler going to go first, going to speak first out of the inductees going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame coming up in Canton, Ohio as well. So you got the Hall of Fame game right around the corner as well. But that's kind of it. Nothing huge. There was a story that came out of Yahoo Sports that all eyes are going to be on the receiver room when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, obviously, as they continue to try to put more and more talent together to try to figure out a way to make up for the departure of Davante Adams. But the offense, specifically the offensive line, as we've talked about, major question marks regarding who's actually going to be available for the regular season. Some of the major players with uncertain statuses, if you will. David Bakhtiari, the timeline for that torn ACL in New Year's Eve of 2020. Missed the playoffs, the start of the 2021 season on the PUP list, came back at the end of the season, tried to do it, got left again. Had to have that knee reworked, and then came back at the end of the season. Bakhtiari's status is the number one storyline to the start of camp. With what a boost it would be if he can resume taking over that left tackle position and just he's back. You know what I mean? He would be back. It would be a big, big sigh of relief for the Green Bay Packers offensively. But it'd be a punch to the gut if that injury continues on and it affects his ability on the field. Josh Nijman, likely the starter at left tackle if Bakhtiari's unavailable. Then you have to wonder about Elton Jenkins, the Packers starter at left tackle. In place of Bakhtiari, tore his ACL in late November during a loss to the Vikings at US Bank Stadium. He missed the final 7 games of the season, don't forget. And he's probably going to miss more to open up the 2022 year. He's a big dude, 310 plus pounds, plays a position requiring explosive movements and a franchise cornerstone. So there's no rush to force him to come back. You want him back, but you don't want to rush him. You want him to be healthy. And like Bakhtiari and Jenkins, could be one of the best tackle combos in football. But if he can't come back, it's Josh Nijman, Royce Newman, possibly Sean Ryan would be the most likely starters at right tackle if Jenkins misses time to open up the season, which I believe he will be. A veteran addition, don't forget, also a possibility. Then there's Jair Alexander, injured that shoulder, making the tackle against the Steelers in week 4. Missed the rest of the regular season. He did return for the playoffs for the loss against 49ers, but played only a handful of snaps in coverage. He missed a tackle on Deebo Samuel. That set up the game-winning field goal in the fourth quarter. However, the Packers, they're confident he's fully back. No limitations. He should be good to go. Okay? Then you got Robert Tonyan. Tonyan tore the ACL following the catch during the second half of the Packers' win over the Arizona Cardinals. That was in October. He missed the final 10 games of the season. Not guaranteed to be back for the start of training camp. Optimism that Tonyan could be ready for the regular season, but the Packers don't have a lot of depth over at the tight end position beyond Tonyan when it comes to the receiving ability, especially in the red zone. So there's some concern about that. Still uncertain right now is the running back Kylan Hill. Not so much as the running back piece, but more so as a returner. He was a pretty good kickoff returner. And he too went down with the ACL in the injury against the Cardinals. Like Tonyan, missed the final 10 games of the season. Still had some playmaking moments in the preseason, flashed some long-term potential before the injury. So you wonder how he's going to be when he does return. Then you got Josh Myers. Rookie season, wrecked by injuries. First an injured finger, took him out of the infection that cost him a game. Then he suffered a knee injury, cost him 10 games. Talked about the injuries more in depth, but he recovered. He should be ready to go for camp. The Packers relied on Lucas Patrick to play center. But Patrick, he's now in Chicago. There's not a clear-cut favorite right now to open up the season and back up Myers in training camp. And in year 2, Myers is going to wear the braces on his knee to protect against injuries. You obviously have Randall Cobb. He's a guy that's with the core muscle injury and such. And like I've said before, like Puxatawny Phil coming out every year to see his shadow, Randall Cobb's going down at some point or another. So you got all kinds of stuff going on regarding the Green Bay Packers, where there are some concerns when it comes to injuries going into camp. So we can get into that discussion as well, some pre-camp discussion. There's also a look at all 32 teams and where they think they are going to be placed. So we want to get into that. So it's kind of a plethora of stuff today. Hey, Ben, we do have an update on the Buffett concert this weekend. Do you want to know what it is?
Uh-oh.
Or did you see it already?
I probably did not see it. What's the update?
Got Grant Bill's tickets.
Wow.
So I got the extra. I've got the extra ticket for you if you want to go. And then Grant Bills is locked in. He's going to be in town on Friday. He's coming into the Milwaukee area, so we're going to hook up on Friday and get him his tickets.
All right, I'll talk to Grant. I'll see what I can do. I'm probably leaning that I can't, but I'll see if I can work things out.
I'm telling you, it's talk about your proverbial hootenannies. Gonna be good. Gonna be a lot of fun. If you're gonna miss out, we'll send you pictures and maybe even send you an empty margarita maker or something like that. There you go. Just so you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's it. That's where we're at today. If you want to chime in, 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. Those are the phone numbers to get a hold of us. You can find us over on Twitter at Bill_Michaels. At Bill_Michaels. You can find us there at Ben Z. Kenny over on Twitter as well. You can find us on the Facebook fan page. Go to facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can watch the television program over there. You can also watch us over on YouTube each and every day. Subscribe for free. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Find us over on Twitch TV as well. And which if you download the app, you can find us there. And then email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. That is thebillmichaels@gmail.com. The website, thebillmichaels.com. Everything's linked up over there. You're good to go. So plenty of ways to stay in touch with the program. Plenty of ways. So there you have it. Let's do this. We're going to step away. We're going to take a quick break, come back, pick up where we left off. A lot to get to. A lot of little stuff to get to today. And also, we continue to talk about the Live Tour. Also, you've got now the SEC, as the SEC media days are going on, and they're talking more and more about the additions that are coming with Texas and Oklahoma into the SEC. And then obviously the ACC has got their own issues. I know that the Big Ten is waiting on Notre Dame. Notre Dame's trying to figure out a way to get more money out of NBC. So you have all that going on, but Notre Dame seems to be the linchpin in all of this. So we'll get into all that discussion. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Go to wishd.com. They're the landing spot for our party this year, as they have been for years past, with our motorcycle ride coming up on Sunday, September 4th. You can get pre-registered for it for a great, and you'll have a chance at some great prize packages, whether it's a Bucks prize package. You've got also a Brewers ticket package, Badgers ticket package with a tailgate. Also, you've got some races at Road America that they put together for us, and all that kind of good stuff. So you got a shot at it. All you got to do is go to FisherHouseWI.org. and go to the events page, FisherHouseWI.org, go to the events page. But we're going to have a hell of a party out at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. And if you're looking for a bike, if you're looking for motor clothes, if you're looking for the party and all the events for the hometown rally, all you got to do is go to wishd.com. That is wishd.com. See for yourself, wishd.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others. Time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine, a place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
With the Love Monkeys at the Budweiser Pavilion as they get ready also for the Wisconsin State Fair, which is right around the corner. But the Love Monkeys taking the stage tonight. Wednesday Night Live is back again. Gates open up at 6. Music begins at 7. $10 to park your car. Free admission. Motorcycles are free, just an FYI. If you walk on in, it's free too. You're good to go. It's all brought to you by our friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. And it looks to be beautiful tonight. A little bit of a breeze and sunny skies. So it's going to be a really nice evening. Going to have a good time out at the Wednesday Night Live tonight at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. I will see you out there for sure. Kristen and I are heading out. I know she's got some work stuff to do, but we're leaving here probably about 5:30, 5:45, and heading down and getting our place over there at the Goose Island Ale House and getting ready for the Love Monkeys. Looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun coming up tonight. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. 1 year ago today, and you know how I knew this, Ben, is because it popped up in my Facebook memories today. 1 year ago today, the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship. It's hard to believe that it was going this late into the season, but it was because remember the season started late because of COVID, and then they extended it. Remember they had that short off season that began this then season that just culminated, but it was 1 year ago today the Bucks won the championship. Can you believe that? 1 year ago today, and you know, from almost losing that team to Seattle. And remember all the discussion about whether or not the Bucks would remain and the real possibility if they didn't get the new arena that they could end up leaving Seattle. There was a lot of talk. Seattle felt like the Bucks were on the way. Remember, you could see it every day on the Four Letter Network. They were talking about Seattle putting a bid together, creating a situation in which they were going to garner themselves another NBA team, and everybody had circled Milwaukee and said Milwaukee is ripe to fall. And then you had obviously the sale. The Senator Cole, ends up selling it over to the Lazary and Edens group. And they said, hey, we can do this, but we got to get a new building. We got to get this whole thing put together. And finally, it all came to pass. They got the new building. The Deer District has been tremendous. Yes, it was marred by violence and gun violence and such during the playoffs this past year down at the Deer District, but that was outside of the area, and it was, unfortunately, as they put it, somewhat of an isolated incident, but it did give a little bit of a black eye to the Deer District. But overall, it has been a wild success down there. They're developing the projects around the Fiserv Forum. Downtown Milwaukee continues to grow. Obviously, getting now, it's COVID ruined the Democratic National Convention. Now the Republican National Convention is going to be coming to Milwaukee as Nashville has dropped out. So Milwaukee is getting it, and you're going to have 45, 50,000 people descending upon the city. It's going to be a moneymaker. It just continues to grow. So from almost losing the Milwaukee Bucks to Seattle 1 year ago today, the Bucks turn it all around with the drafting of Giannis Antetokounmpo and John Hammond doing such a wonderful job in scouting him and being a father figure to him and keeping him here and watching him grow. Obviously turning things then over to John Horst, and things just matriculated from there. And then the Bucks won a championship 1 year ago today. 1 year ago today. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. But fantastic. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, do it. Good stuff. Can you believe that? It was a year ago today, Ben? Doesn't it seem like forever?
Well, it definitely feels weird given the time in the summer, we're at with
right.
The NBA having ended. But yeah, I mean, it's odd. And my favorite part about this has been with all of the 1 year anniversaries of all the finals games, we've seen all of the takes and thoughts from the Suns players, from the national media about Giannis's free throw shooting and all that good stuff. That was all proven wrong, but all those videos are resurfacing. Mm-hmm. So that's been fun.
Yep. I was just kind of going through my Facebook memories today. And just a lot of weird stuff. Do you ever do that? Do you ever click on your memories and go, what did I do a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago?
So I haven't been a big Facebook poster for a long time. So I wouldn't have, all of my memories would be from 7th grade, or 6th grade.
Well,
so I don't have enough there.
I post Facebook and I post Instagram, and they're connected now. So it's now on both. So I can do that. 2 years ago today, I was in Eau Claire at Pizza Del Rey. I don't even know if Pizza Del Rey's open anymore. I think somebody new bought it, and they're getting ready to open it. But I took a picture of that freaky ass clown that I talk about all the time. That was in Pizza Del Rey that used to giggle at me. And I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna grab that picture and post it back out. Show you why that thing freaked me out, man. I don't know why. I just did. Thing freaked me out. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, that's what was 1 year ago. 1 year ago today, the Milwaukee Bucks won the championship. So that was solid. Got a lot of stuff going over on the Bud Light live stream. If you want to hit us up over there, feel free. Dale says, is Robert Tonyan going to be ready for the regular season? I don't know if he's going to be ready right away. He'll play at some point, you would assume, but I don't know if he's going to be ready right away.
But we heard he was playing golf. We heard from multiple sources
that he was
playing golf. The knee looks great.
Well, he was also a guy that was hobbling around during some of the OTAs. So I'm from Mike Clemens. So maybe we're going, you know what? We should get maybe a pre-camp report from our buddy Mike. We'll see if we can't get him on the line at some time this week, because camp begins then next week. We'll talk to Mike. Mike back on the payroll this year, by the way. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-877-1670. Oh, by the way, Matt Schneidman, our buddy Matt Schneidman, Packers' first 3 training camp practices open to the public starting next Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday, all going to start at 10:45. It sucks because it starts when we're on the air. We'd love to go and broadcast from Packers training camp just to be there and be a part of it. And maybe we will. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe this is what we do. Maybe we take the big unit cruiser up and we just, even if we're just outside, we just park it outside somewhere nearby and we have the cameras and we just do the show there. Maybe we do that. Maybe we do that next Wednesday or Thursday, or maybe both days for that matter. I got to think about this now. Might have to do that. But the first 3 practices open to the public. There you go. 877-867-1670. This one's from Rich. Rick says Tonyan keeps claiming that he's going to be ready week 1. There's a lot of guys that say they're going to be ready week 1. That I feel great. I'm ready to go. The one thing I will say is it's not up to them. It's up to Doc McKenzie. Doc McKenzie is, and rightfully so, he is the player's advocate for health. He wants to make sure you are 100% ready to go before they ever think about sticking you out there. So it would not shock me if Tonyan is off to the side doing drills where he's doing things, but he's not heavily participating early on in training camp. It would not shock me. So he can say what he wants, but until Doc McKenzie says you're good to go, that's when it all comes full circle. Just an FYI. David says, how are we looking? How are we looking, David? You the man. This is from Douglas, who says, Dave's knees are not healing properly. Don't count on him. Doug, you got some inside info there? Got some inside info? Just checking. Well, first of all, you're right. They didn't heal properly because that was one of the reasons he had issues last year. He had so much fluid on that knee. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse to the point that he couldn't play, obviously. So even a year removed, he came back at the end of the season, talked about it to Aaron Nagler and such, and Cheesehead TV about all the fluid that was being drained from his knees weekly, bi-weekly, what have you, that it just never healed right. So now you hope that it's okay, but I agree with it. Until considering the fact that we saw Bakhtiari at the OTAs, mini camps, what have you, that he did some work or wasn't seen at all. And then they kept, under the questions and under the scrutiny of, will he be ready? Oh, and then they never said, oh yeah, he's going to be ready. No problem. Never said that. They kept saying, well, it's a football injury. It's tough to come back. And no. Come on. Stop. We all know injuries are tough. Every player deals with it in the NFL. You'll get he's doing great. He's ahead of schedule, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff points to positivity. What you're getting now is, well, Dave's a tough guy. He's working hard. Okay. In other words, no, you don't know. In other words, it's not great. It's not where you want it to be. Otherwise, you'd say it's exactly where he needs to be. He's on pace to come back. He's doing great. That optimism never came out in any comment. And quite frankly, Matt LaFleur got tired of being asked about it, so he got snippy with the media regarding it. It's because he couldn't give you an answer of saying, you know what, between you, me, and the fence post, we have no idea. He's not doing well. It's not working out well. So you hope he's back. I do, but I'm not holding my breath. Not holding my breath. Kevin says, by the way, he says, Ben, you need to man up. Free tickets to see Jimmy Buffett. He said, I'd take that if I could. As for the losing Road America race, once again, small market and no respect for the state of Wisconsin by the national media. Here's the thing, Kevin. When it's they're strictly looking for television eyes and a television package. That's it. By taking it to what is considered to be the third largest, top 3 market in the country. That Road America had its, I think its second or third largest crowd ever for the NASCAR race this past year. 400,000 people, maybe more, I don't know, came into Road America. I mean, it was packed as I have ever seen it. As packed as I have ever seen it. It's not about ticket sales to them. They don't care. What they care about is television eyes. So you being the average race fan, they're guaranteeing the fact that you're going to watch the race. That's what they're hoping for. And they're going to hope that Chicagoans in a huge city, in a large market, are going to watch that race. That out of those 8 million, 10 million people that are in the Chicago market, 4 million are going to tune in. 3 million are going to tune in. That's what they're hoping for. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy NASCAR. I love watching racing. It's something, it's not something I sit down and make a destinational viewing, but it's something that's usually on in the background. It's something I do pay attention to because of Road America, because of the area, because of the region. But it failed miserably at Chicago Motor Speedway. They didn't care about it. The Speedway just never lived up to its billing. Chicagoans didn't really show up in droves. It wasn't a great venue. Road America, with its camping, its scenery, it was a postcard with a race on it. And they yanked it out of there. It just goes to show you, they don't give a damn about the fans. What they care about is the money and the eyes and the viewership and the television packages. That's it. If the NFL felt they could cut all the expenses and play every game in one city and play every game in one stadium and make a lot more money doing it, they do it. They yank it out from you, the fans, and pull it out of Green Bay, pull it out of Chicago, pull it out of Pittsburgh, stick you in one location. That'd be it. If they could make more money doing it, because they don't. This is now business. It's just the same thing with the NCAA, and with all these schools changing conferences and such. It's not about tradition. It's not about the fans. Think about fans now having to travel. If you are Rutgers or Maryland, and you thought, you know what, I can make a trip. I can make a 12, 13-hour trip. I'll make a drive. I've never been to Wisconsin. I want to go. It looks picturesque on television. I want to go. I want to go to Northwestern. I want to go to Champaign, Illinois. I want to go to the Big House. That's great. But now you got to go to USC. You're not driving that trip. You're not driving to LA from coast to coast. You got to fly. So now it hurts your fan base. It hurts your fan base if you're Wisconsin, hurts your fan base if you're Maryland, it hurts your fan base if you're Michigan, if you're Ohio State. They don't care. They don't care about you, the fan. It's about television rights deals and money. Period. End of story. Don't think there's loyalty to you. They may pat you on the head and say, we love you, we can't do it without you, and all that kind of stuff. But actions speak louder than words. And when you're going to say, yeah, we love you so much, come on and travel another 800 or 1,000 miles to come and see us. You can't drive unless you start out on a Monday to get there on a Saturday. Can't drive it. So what are you going to do? Spend your money, fly. It is what it is. I'm preaching to myself here. Going to go ahead and take a quick break. Stay tuned. A whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Glad to have you. We continue on the Bill Michaels Show. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Burn Pit Barbecue. Our guys down there in Racine, Wisconsin. Veteran-owned. Been in business a couple of years. And still a lot of, well, any time is grilling time for that matter. If you're going to do a lot of barbecuing or, roasts, shoulders, ribs, briskets. Oh, yeah, they've got it all. That is burnpitbbq.com, burnpitbbq.com. Again, burnpitbbq.com. The sauce is right here in the great state of Wisconsin. They ship it out the next day and get it to you. You can go to the website and see everything that it is they have to offer. And again, if you're going to support a veteran-owned company, this is one to support. Go to burnpitbbq.com. Again, burnpitbbq.com. This was from Dave. Dave says, hey, you couldn't agree with you more. It's all about the money in today's day and age. They don't give a damn about the fans. They just want the fans to come and spend the money, and exorbitant amounts of money, for beers, hot dogs, mixed drinks, and such. It's no longer the family of four. It's the businessman of two. That's who's paying the freight. And that's from Dave. Pretty much. Can't argue with that. I mean, the whole family of four thing, I mean, if you want to go economically and you really, really spend some time, search for deals, snack out and tailgate out in the parking lot, and you're just going for the game, yeah, you can do it relatively inexpensively. But if you're going to do the family of four thing, you're going to buy the tickets, you're going to buy the parking, you'll tailgate a little bit, you're going to come in, you got, the 2 beers, the 4, 2 sodas, the brats and hot dogs, maybe a pretzel, whatever, a souvenir of some type. You're $250 easy, easy. So I don't know about the whole family of four thing anymore. I don't know how to. The family of four thing always was a little bit of a misnomer to me, because some people had more, some people had less. It just, that was just an average, I guess, of what you would spend. But I never seemed to spend that. I always seemed to spend more. When my kids were young, I always spent more. Always. David said the NCAA and the Badgers haven't given a rip for paying fans that show up for years, proven every time they set a kickoff time 5 to 6 days before the game. Try planning ahead for that with hotels, parties, all that kind of stuff. They don't give a damn about us. It's all about TV ratings and matchups. Happens too often. That's from David. That's a good point.
The whole country does that, I believe. That's a college football problem.
That is a college football problem. I agree with you. Rick says NASCAR fans tend not to watch the road races as much as the ovals. This is true. I will give you that. But here's the thing, Rick. Think about this now. The number one worldwide viewing is F1. F1 is doing all these things. They're doing these road courses. They're doing these city courses. They're doing these special setups. So to say that race fans don't watch anything but ovals would be erroneous. NASCAR got away from its roots years ago. I can't explain the popularity. NASCAR was through the roof in the 90s. Through the roof. They had the fights, they had the bumping and grinding, rubbing and racing. It seemed like NASCAR, the lore of NASCAR died, and I hate to put it that way, the day Dale Earnhardt Sr. died. If you're a NASCAR fan, correct me if I'm wrong. And then you had some of the rivalries left. Jeff Gordon retired. You had Jimmy Johnson move over to IndyCar. Tony Stewart got out. You had all these guys that were bigger than life caricatures. Obviously, Dale Earnhardt Jr. left. All these guys left. All the big names that you had known, the family names you had known, got out of it. And it wasn't guys from Georgia and Alabama and North Carolina and such rubbing and racing anymore. You're getting guys from New York and California, and then the induction of Toyota, which burned a lot of people. You know, it tried to broaden itself, and rightfully so, but it just wasn't well received. And then the popularity waned. IndyCar has certainly picked up popularity. Formula One is just through the roof popularity wise. So yeah, it's just different. Jeff said, "Did you say NASCAR not coming back to Elkhart Lake?" I did say that. It's official. They're going to Chicago. Mark says F1 better racing. NASCAR too many rule changes. They have screwed it up. And Rick also says Chicagoland Speedway, one of those boring cookie cutter tracks like Texas Motor Speedway. Watching racing on those tracks is like watching paint dry. It won't last. Well, Chicagoland Speedway, they're not going back. They're going to the streets of Chicago. Chicagoland Speedway doesn't have that race anymore. Neither does Kentucky Motor Speedway. Kentucky Motor Speedway has become a parking lot for trucks that don't have those chips in them yet. They had almost 6,000 at one point, if I'm not mistaken, trucks parked inside Kentucky Motor Speedway. They do the truck series, I think, there, but I don't think Xfinity races there anymore. And that's what we're waiting to find out, is if the Xfinity series is also going to go to Chicago, or if they're going to have the Xfinity series still at Road America. Remember, the Xfinity series has been racing at Road America for a long, long time. And NASCAR just came last year back to Road America. And so it was last year, which was the Jockey 250, and this year the Quick Trip 250. And next year was supposed to be the Quick Trip 250 as well, until NASCAR pulled and NBC pulled the rights out of there. But we'll see. I mean, they'll be back at some point, but it is what it is. Let's do this. We're going to step away. We'll talk more about this, too, coming up at the bottom of the next hour. Dave Kallman, race writer for the Journal-Sentinel, going to be joining us. We'll talk with him about the decision for NASCAR to leave Road America, get out of the state of Wisconsin, go back to street racing in the city of Chicago, which I think is going to also be somewhat interesting, with drivers driving around in Kevlar vests because they could be shot in a drive-by almost at any point in time. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others, time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports-themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine, a place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program. Don't forget about heading downtown Milwaukee if you're going to be out and about for the next couple of weekends or weeks for that matter. Some of the best Italian food you're ever going to put in your mouth. Our buddy Gino and the whole staff at Calderone Club and down there at San Giorgio. Oh, such good stuff. I haven't been down there in a while and I got to get back down. Starting to crave it. I was sitting here last night watching some of the All-Star game. Don't get me wrong, having the All-Star game and eating just hot dogs. Ballpark Franks, having the plump when you cook them. Hot dogs on the bun, the whole thing. It was just fair. It was good baseball fare to sit down and do that last night. But I got to admit, I'm craving some Calderone Club. Oh, big time. They pair that stuff up with Cider Boys from Point Brewing, and they do a lot of that down there. They have the Peronis and all that kind of stuff. But they pair it up with Cider Boys. So if you're going to get the Bill Michaels pizza, get the Bill Michaels over at Calderone Club. Oh, so good. Ask for Alex, the server over there too. He's fantastic. But so hi to Gino, Robin, everybody. They also support the ride too, by the way. Robin and Gino and everybody going to be on the ride again this year. So looking forward to that. But stop down Calderone Club and San Giorgio right there on Old World 3rd Street, right across from the Hyatt, downtown Milwaukee. Tell them all we said hi. 877-867-1670, 877-1670. Again, a lot of talk about NASCAR, but after 2 years of being, NASCAR being at Road America on the 4th of July weekend and record-breaking crowds, NASCAR has decided to go in a different direction. The specifics, Dale wants to know. He said, why would they do that? Once again, the state of Wisconsin gets screwed. Look, to me, you don't do it if it's not for the money. Not for the money, and I think it's from what I understand, it's NBC driven. NBC wants that big market. They want those more eyes, all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. So that's the only thing I can think of. It is now going to be called the Illinois 300. 2.5-mile course with the start-finish line and pit road located on South Columbus Drive, directly in front of Buckingham Fountain. So IMSA-sanctioned sports cars are going to join the Cup Series on the July 1st through the 2nd weekend, according to NASCAR. And we'll find out if the Xfinity Series is down there as well relatively soon. But yes, it happened. This is from Kennedy, who says, hey, Bill, first of all, it's a shame that Road America is losing such a great race. It was a great weekend up there. My family and I have gone the last couple of years. What a beautiful park. What do you think the Brewers are going to do before the All-Star break ends? If they're going to make a move, or are they going to wait till the trade deadline when their backs are up against the wall and it's going to cost you the most? Well, here's two things. One thing to remember is you're always looking to make a deal. And if the deal's right, you make the deal. But don't forget, other teams that you have to trade with are not just sitting there going, you know what? I'll make the deal now. Well, no, they want to get the most bang for their buck as well, because they know teams that are buyers versus sellers are all going to be bidding for a lot of the commodities that they have. So what you want is not just to deal with one team. You want to deal with numerous teams because you want to get the most. So while, yeah, in theory, it's great to say, hey, the Brewers got to make a deal and make a deal right now. Absolutely. But you don't necessarily make that deal right now if you're a selling team, because you want 1, 2, 3 teams in on the bidding, which then drives it up, and maybe you get an extra player or prospect or two out of the deal. So I agree with you, but it's not that easy because it takes 2 to tango. This one's from Dale. Says, is Hader going to be traded this season or next season? I don't want to see him trade him. Dale, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. I don't want to see him trade. First of all, I wouldn't trade him in season. If you trade him in season, unless you're getting a big bat or a big name for him, you're kind of conceding that the back end of your bullpen is going to be weakened. With or without Devin Williams being somebody that you might or might not be able to rely upon. But I don't want to see him do it. I want to see them. They traded for him. They grew him. He was going to be a starter. He ended up becoming and morphing into a tremendous closer, one of the best closers in baseball, specifically over the last few years. I don't want to see him just get rid of him to get rid of him. I want to see this team. You cultivated talent. Now, damn it, hang on to it. That's what you're supposed to do when you're a small market team. One hour down, 3 yet to go. Hang in there. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
And there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
After making the 3-year contract extension official with Pat Connaughton, the Milwaukee Bucks announced yesterday that they have re-signed center Serge Ibaka. Ibaka averaged 7 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 17.8 minutes in 19 games with the Bucks last season. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Good day, one and all. Welcome to the Bill Michaels Show. Glad you're with us. Glad you're with us on this day after the All-Star game. Now everybody kind of gets a few days to breathe and then back at it. Back at it as the unofficial second half of the season gets underway. Back at it. 877-867-1670. That's the phone number to hit us up at, should you choose to do so. You can also find myself and Ben Kenny over on Twitter. Ben producing the program today and every day at Ben Z Kenny. At Ben Z Kenny. You can find me over on Twitter as well, at Bill_Michaels. Got a question out there on Twitter, too, that I'm going to talk about coming up here momentarily regarding the Green Bay Packers. In addition to that, plenty of ways to pay attention to the program. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can find us there, facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. Also over on YouTube, because you can subscribe to YouTube for free. And when the show comes on, it reminds you right there on your phone. It pops up and says, hey, you're on the air. Here you go. You can find us there. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. Also, you can track us down over on Twitch TV if you download the app. The email, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And, pretty much any other way you want to pay attention to the program. You can find us on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Podcasts. You can find us in many different facets. So great ways to hang on to the program. So I had said a little bit earlier over on Twitter, and I wanted to get reaction there first. We talked a little bit about the article about who kind of you're relying upon regarding the Green Bay Packers and some of the question marks, because obviously there is quite a few of them when it comes to injuries with the offensive line, Robert Tonyan, Kylan Hill coming back as a kick returner. Who's going to be the kick returner? There's many things to talk about. So I said, well, going into camp, what is your biggest concern for the Green Bay Packers? As the Packers now head into training camp starting up next week, what's your biggest concern? So I wanted to go through this list. Kyle says, at Kyle Redden, I should say, Kyle Redden. He says Aaron's knee. The next one is from Dr. LW, who says WTF is in 12's head, meaning Aaron Rodgers, what Aaron's thinking. I'll come back to that because I think that's interesting. Grizz Waldsky says winning in the playoffs. That's what concerns me. That also is where I'm at. There are things along the way we're going to discuss. There's no doubt about it. But because the details will build the ultimate picture. But this year, when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, unless this thing's massively derailed by injuries or completely a subpar performance offensively, what have you, I've always said I don't give two damns about the regular season. I don't care about number one overall seeds. I don't care about home field advantage. I don't care about any of that anymore. Everything's been proven wrong over the last couple of years. Have they won? Absolutely. Absolutely. But when we see flaws in the regular season, even during wins, and we've talked about it, and people say, they're winning. Who cares? You're stupid. And you always say, well, wait a minute. You see this and I see this. Whether they just beat a good team or a bad team is irrelevant, because a really good team in the postseason will take that little bit of what we just saw, that little glimmer of light, to be able to say we can execute in this particular area better than you can. And that can be one of those things that is your downfall. You don't need to look any further than what the 49ers did via special teams against the Green Bay Packers to figure out a way to win. So I don't give two damns about the regular season. It is all about the postseason at this point and fixing issues. BPED says over on Twitter, the offensive lines can be one of the bottom line units in the league if 74 and 69 are not back. Protecting Aaron Rodgers. That's my biggest concern. Cheap Noyan says, my biggest concern is A.J. Dillon sending people to the hospital with a picture of him plowing through the Kenosha Kingfish mascot. But by the way, he's okay. He did an interview, I think it was with a local television station, and says, yeah, I'm good. No problem. Not a problem here.
He did sound a bit concussed.
Yeah, he's a little bit off his game.
Yeah.
The Kenosha Kingfish mascot Elvis, he was a little off his game, but the kid said he's okay. So I'm good, Alex says injuries, no random ACL tears, please. Cheese Curd Sports says the Bill Michaels Show. Sticking with it. That's his biggest concern going into Packers training camp. Stick with us. We don't have any concerns here. We're good. AJ, health, outlook of the offensive line to start the season. Packer fan says special teams. The Achilles heel last year, atrocious. Cost us a deep playoff run. Can we at least be ranked in the top 30 maybe this year as a unit? Rather than 32nd and 31st. If they come up to 18th, if they come up to 15th, it is an absolute freaking miracle. It just is. Matty Ice, The Last Dance, is the O-line depth. EM, Mascal Jr., at Mascal Jr. says left tackle times 100. Wisconsin Cheese Curd King says the offensive line, I think, back is back. He's played his last game, though. I don't think he's going to be the same player, Elton. Let's pray that they keep him out all year to let him heal. Start Nyman at left tackle and figure out the right side. Old Blue Eye says there's nobody to throw it to. Rudy says the wide receiver room is not deep. And it kind of goes on from there. What is your biggest concern heading into this Packers training camp? The biggest concern as the Packers get set next week to take the Ray Nitschke Field. Michael writes, I think Aaron Rodgers being completely focused on what he has to do and not just looking for Devontae Adams is going to be the number one issue going into camp. If he gets comfortable with the wide receivers, this offense can move and continue to score. If he does not, and he continues to make excuses for bad play, holding onto the ball too long, like we've seen in the past, because he wants to wait till somebody's completely wide open, then this is going to be a train wreck. I think, just me, I think that I think Rodgers is going to be on point. I think there's going to be some hiccups. Don't get me wrong. You don't lose Devontae and everything just is smooth or smoother than before. So let's not fool ourselves here. But I think Aaron's going to be on point. I really do. I think that it's going to be, in the beginning specifically, it's going to be, it's going to be timing. It's going to be, you got to get to your spot. The ball's going to be here and guys are going to get an opportunity to make plays. He's going to find out who has the tenacity and wherewithal to be a wide receiver in the National Football League. He's going to rely upon Randall Cobb. He's going to rely upon Alan Lazard. He's going to rely upon Sammy Watkins. But I think as far as the young guys go, you throw it to a spot and you tell them why they're not there. And you find out who to trust that fast. Who runs a clean route, who runs a crisp route, who can get off a block, all that kind of stuff. I think Aaron's going to be on point because I think the offense with Matt LaFleur, the way it is going to be designed to, you're going to move, you're going to put guys in motion. Guys are going to be at spots at a particular moment in a particular time, and that's where the ball is going to go. I think you got to start out that way, and then you figure out along the way who you can trust and who you can't, and that's when the offense begins to morph into something different. But that's just my gut feeling. We're going to talk with Mike Clemens about this coming up a little bit later on today, too, by the way. Just so you know, coming up in the last hour of the show. So we'll be all over to join. 877-867-1670. If you want to chime in, phone lines are wide open. What is your biggest concern going into the Packers training camp beginning next week? Rick said outside linebacker depth. It's Gary Smith and a bunch of dudes. This one is from Alyssa. Alyssa says, if Aaron Rodgers cuts the hair, that's your biggest concern, Alyssa? Okay. I don't agree with that, but if that's your biggest concern, so be it. Dennis says, hey, Bill, the Packers released practice times yet. Eager to bring my grandkids to watch, but need plans. Yes, they are announcing today. Go to the Packers website, go to Packers.com, and you can see where they have announced some of the Packers practice times. Kind of go from there. Dale says, Crosby's last season as a Packers place kicker? ? That's a great question. How old is Mason Crosby? He's what, 41, I think?
37.
Oh, Mason's 37? Oh my God, I aged him. I apologize. Holy mackerel. That was terrible. Terrible on my
The hair is a little gray.
Yeah. Mason Crosby set to make $4.7 million this year. This is, by the way, his kind of his final year contractually. Now he's an unrestricted free agent after 2023 with projections. So this is the last year of his deal. I would probably say, yes, this is his last year. Now, the question is, let's say he bounces back, and it was indeed the process. It wasn't the kicker. Suppose this year he hits 85+% of his kicks. Then what? Do you sign him to another 1-year deal? Good kickers, specifically kickers in cold weather climate, they're hard to find. It's not easy. You know, you look what happened to Chicago after they got rid of Robbie Gould. You look what happened and what they've been going through in Minnesota. You know, they even drafted a kicker a few years back and still lost to Seattle in the postseason at TCF Bank Stadium. They've had their issues. It's not easy to move on. Now, if you've got a sure thing, that's one thing. But, it's not easy to just go say, hey, we're going to find a kicker, no problem. I would assume it is. I would assume this is kind of the swan song for Mason Crosby, who I aged far too soon, and I apologize for that. But I'll never say never, because if he bounces back and has a really good season, he may be back for another year, or at least be back with a contract that is, one, team friendly, and two, is there'll be competition in camp. So that's just my thought. Give us a shout. What is your concern as the Packers get set? We're a week away from training camp. As the Packers get set for training camp, what is your number one concern? 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hot day today. Hot, windy, humid, all that kind of stuff. Keep the cool air out of the air conditioning in your home and the hot air on the outside, and vice versa come wintertime with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. I love my Pella Windows and Doors. As a matter of fact, I was outside early this morning cleaning windows, washing windows, cleaning them up. And for the second floor windows, easy. Screens pop right out. Just reach outside the window, squeegee, sponge, clean them off. Good to go. Good to go. They're easy maintenance on these things. But right now, with these kind of deals, and you want to worry about financing and the way everything's going up right now and hitting into this recession, 4 years, no interest. How about that? 4 years, no interest. And if you want to go the interest route, that's great. If you want to go a different route and get the overall price down, $250 per window off right now. You can take that deal instead, unless, of course, you are going to upgrade the windows to a slider style window, which then they'll take up to $400 per window off. How about that? So you got plenty of different financial options, but it doesn't matter. You can make them all work. They can come for free into your home. They can measure. They can look at the interior. They can match up the interior. They can match up the exterior. They can let you pick out the hardware. Everything that it is you want in a window, you can do it. Customizable from our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But you can't do anything if you don't call. Call them 855-PELLA, P-E-L-L-A, 855-PELLA-WI, 855-PELLA-WI, or go to PELLAWI.com for your free, no obligation, in-home consultation. Or you can stop into any one of the showrooms, Green Bay, Brookfield, out near Milwaukee, Madison. Stop in any one of them. Check it out as well. But Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, I swear by them. Why? I have them in my home. And I had them long before I ever started doing these commercials. That's for damn sure. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Go to PellaWI.com or call them 855-PELLA-WI. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Wisconsin isn't snobby, snooty, or pretentious. It's Midwestern charm at its finest. And that's exactly what Forgotten Fire Winery in Peshtigo is all about. Fun in a bottle without the attitude. You can find their full wine and cider lineup in their tasting room or in liquor and grocery stores throughout the state. The winery is a great place to get away for wine and cider tastings, great live music, and private events all year long. Remember, any time is a great time for Forgotten Fire wines and ciders. Wisconsin wine made from Wisconsin people.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
I think it's the best offseason move they made. Take away which guys they drafted at the different spots.
Yeah.
If you're talking just in terms of roster moves, whether it's trading Devontae, signing Watkins, the new special teams coordinator, I think it's their best move. Talked about that last week.
I am a believer that Sammy Watkins he's coming into this situation to rejuvenate what people thought he lost. And that is his speed, his ability. Now he's got to stay healthy. I mean, that's the big thing for him. He's been banged up, but there's this question mark about Sammy Watkins and his ability to be a playmaker. And I think he's coming here going, look, I've got a guy that can throw the ball on a dime. I got a guy that can put the ball into a tight window. I got a guy, as long as he can get it near me, I'm going to catch it, and I can rejuvenate my career. I can add catches. I can add yards. I can add scores. I think he's coming here thinking to himself, this is where I can rejuvenate my career and maybe make myself some additional money before I walk away. So I don't know, just my 2 cents worth. I think the whole, Randall Cobb thing is, I'm not going to say a joke because it's not. I mean, Cobb does have some value, but this whole thing about, well, Randall Cobb's a veteran too. Randall Cobb has been as banged up, if not more, than Sammy Watkins. And Randall Cobb he's a reliable guy when the play breaks down. That's what he is and has been pretty much from day one. This is from Irv. Irv says, my biggest question mark regarding the offensive line is David Bakhtiari. If he cannot play or play the way he's accustomed to playing, or we're used to him playing, then it is going to be a loss. All you need is one hit on Aaron Rodgers to take him out of a game, and the season then would be over. Bring on Jordan Love and let us all then see what everybody thinks, that he is going to be a failure. That's from Irv. Irv, appreciate the email. Marshall says, first of all, what's wrong with Chicagoland Speedway? It's a parking lot right now, correct? I believe it is, Marshall. He says, my biggest concern for the Green Bay Packers is the wide receiver room. Sammy Watkins is good. Randall Cobb is not. Alan Lazard's a good route runner, but who cares? And the rest of the guys are too young to really understand the offense. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a frustrating season. That's from Marshall. Marshall, appreciate the email. We're going to talk with Dave Coleman. Speaking of that, when you go back to the Chicagoland discussion, Josh Bilicki is from Wisconsin. He's a NASCAR driver, and I've been reading comments over on his page about this. And he said he's excited for the Chicago street race, but really disappointed. No home NASCAR Cup race at Road America. But he did ask the question, is this going to be the most anticipated NASCAR race of 2023, going to the streets of Chicago? It might be. But following the thread and the comments on his page, it is a lot of vitriol regarding pulling it out of Road America, losing a race, going to Chicago, catering to NASCAR, or catering to NBC, and going on and on and on. So anyway, I think it's interesting. I think it's sad. And it is a revenue generator for the state of Wisconsin. Don't fool yourself. Even if you're not a NASCAR fan, this means a lot of money lost, not only for Elkhart Lake, but tax dollars coming into the state of Wisconsin. We're going to talk with Dave Coleman, race writer for the Journal Sentinel, when we come back. Stay tuned. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Catch all the racing action at Road America. Camping and corporate events available as well. Go to roadamerica.com for all the information. Road America, America's national park of speed.
I hate being late to the ballpark. You just missed a home run. Gina Della from Pella. I can't believe my seat is next to yours. Peanut? I'm allergic to them. Ah, nuts. You know, I'm always late to things. No one procrastinates like me. The worst is that I missed out on that incredible deal you were offering at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Missed what? It just started. Get beautiful Pella windows and pay no interest for 4 years.
That's the one.
Imagine the money you'd save by not paying interest for 4 years.
Okay, don't rub it in.
Rub what in? The deal just started at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Seriously?
Yep.
You're just making an exception because you feel bad for me.
No, for real. It's hard to believe that a deal this good exists, but it does. You just missed another home run.
Oh, this is too important. I'm trying to find the website on my phone.
It's PellaWI.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Joining us now, the race writer for the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Dave Kallman, is joining us on the hotline. Dave, how you been, man?
Hey, it's great to be with you, Bill. It's been a while.
So, Dave, let's first of all start off with the success that was Road America. It looks like it was either their largest or one of their top 3 largest crowds ever. They've had 2 successful back-to-back races with NASCAR there at the road course. It seemed like everything was roses. It was just perfect. And then to have the rug pulled out from underneath you, it's a little bit disappointing.
Well, it is. I think we need to be a little bit careful how we look at this. And first, let me say that, yeah, absolutely, I'd much rather be going to Road America next year than even thinking about going to Chicago. That said, Road America's deal was 2 years. That was the promise. It wasn't, you've got 2 years to prove yourself. It was, we're going to be here for the next 2 years, and then we'll see what happens. So this idea, the Chicago thing, was, at least in the thought process, probably before NASCAR even came to Road America with the Cup Series. So I think to a degree we're looking at this a little bit incorrectly when we say, oh, they pulled the plug on Road America, they pulled out of Road America, they dumped Road America, in favor of this. Yeah, but not quite.
It seems to be, at least from what I understand, this is more driven via NBC and the television contract than it is the dislike for Road America, correct?
I would certainly say so. They didn't. Much of what was said yesterday at the announcement was about, trying something new, being bold in their schedule, going to they're going back to a market with 9.6 million people. Expose NASCAR, expose the product to a different audience, yada yada yada. With that said, yeah, the negotiations on the next television contract do open next year. Contract runs through 24, I believe, the current contract. But next year they'll start negotiations, and you got to admit, downtown Chicago is going to look sexy. It's just that's one of those things that I think is going to be a good selling point for them.
That I agree with. It'll raise interest just in the fact that it's racing in the city. Now, we've seen them race. There's been races through Detroit. There's races out on the West Coast in streets and such of different types. But NASCAR going to the streets, you're right, is a different set of eyes for them. So I understand this. I don't think it's a slap in the face to Road America. But is NASCAR losing touch with, because we know what the popularity of Formula One is and what they just did in Miami, what they're going to do in Vegas, what they're going to do in Texas. Is NASCAR now scrambling on the defensive, trying to make up for lost ground and lost popularity?
I think, maybe there's a little bit of that, although this obviously, like I said, was as far as we know, was in the thought process before Miami launched, or before, the Vegas concept came to light as far as Formula One goes. I think, one thing, yeah, NASCAR did fall a little bit behind in innovative thinking whatsoever. Big change in NASCAR. Okay, there were some big changes in the sense that they did go to Chicagoland when that was there, and they did go to California, a while back. But really, there weren't that many serious shakeups in the schedule. It was kind of the same thing, wash, rinse, repeat, maybe rearrange a little bit. But now they are realizing that, there's other stuff out there too. We can support, we can reward the lifelong fans, but kind of like newspaper readers, eventually they're going to be dead. We're going to need to do something to attract new eyeballs as well. And so with this new generation of management, Ben Kennedy is the great-grandson of founder Bill France. With his generation of management, they are getting aggressive. They're getting bold. They're willing to try things. Is everything going to work? Oh, heck no. Is Chicago going to work? I don't know. But there is only one way to find out. If NASCAR didn't want to make changes, if NASCAR was content to just stay status quo, they wouldn't have come to Road America with the Cup Series 2 years ago either. So, to a degree, you have to at least understand the thought process, even if you don't agree with it or don't necessarily appreciate it.
Is this a one-off or is this a multi-year contract to do this with Chicago?
My understanding is it's a 3-year deal. But of course, we've seen temporary events before be announced, and so let's press conference introduced to have a race. So I think we can until next end of June. I think that we can question. I don't know. We can worry a little bit until it actually happens, whether it's even going to happen. I think there's going to be some. Well, we've seen already some pushback from aldermen and whatnot. I think there's enough money at stake that Chicago really, really, really wants this to work. But, if it doesn't, people are only going to spend. It is going to be an expensive thing to put on, for sure. And if it's a flop, then, maybe it only does last 1 year. Again, maybe it doesn't get that far. I think it will, but, there are no guarantees, and if it is a flop, do you cut your losses then? Maybe you do. In which case, let's be honest, they've got the Road America phone number on their speed dial. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see the Cup Series back at Road America in some point in the future.
Talking with Dave Kallman, race writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You can find him on Twitter at Dave Kallman, Kallman. Dave, does this mean the Xfinity?
Two M's.
2 M. Yes, 2 M's. Sorry. Got to get that in there as well. Does this mean the Xfinity Series is also following, that they are also leaving Road America?
That's TBD. I'm not sure, and Road America's not sure. I mean, it's been a discussion. Does Xfinity come back as a headliner? Do the trucks come along with Xfinity, making it a different sort of a NASCAR weekend, but a NASCAR weekend nonetheless? I don't know. I think we're a couple of months away from finding that out, maybe. At least a month, maybe 2. When talking to track president Mike Kircher the other day, he said that when they did we talked to him about this several times. When they did fan surveys, sort of exit survey kind of thing, or ticket buyer surveys, they found that like 75% of the respondents said they would continue to support a NASCAR weekend at Road America, even if it didn't have the Cup Series. So, you can say whatever you want in a survey. If you don't buy tickets or you don't back it up, then that doesn't matter. But I think at this point, I'd say there's a real good possibility that there will be a NASCAR weekend of some sort there.
The obviously IndyCar benefits to a certain extent, because now when you look at Road America's docket, the big name is the IndyCar series. And so IndyCar, my assumption would be, even though, more eyes on one track brings more people. But now when you're the kind of the standalone IndyCar, you would assume is probably smiling a little bit saying, well, we're going to be the big dog back at Road America come next year, right?
Yeah, I would think that's the case. As far as the ticketing goes anyway, will it make much of a difference on tickets? I don't know. It seems like the Cup, the 2 years of the Cup Series did expose Road America to more people in general, people who wouldn't, maybe didn't live that way, but suddenly became more aware of it and decided it needed to get out there and had a good time, enjoyed the whole experience, and now maybe have bought tickets to another race. So I don't know whether it'll affect the number of people who show up, but yeah, the attention. I mean, that's the headliner. That's the big deal. So it can't hurt IndyCar, that's for sure.
Talk about the state of racing in the state. Let's go there on a smaller microcosm at this point, because you just had the Slinger Nationals, which were wildly successful. Matt Kenseth's name was all over it in the Wabam car. Racing is in lacrosse. Racing is in talk about the state of racing in the state.
It's really interesting. Seems to me, and I don't get to nearly as much as I probably should. But just from what I do get to and what I hear about and what I see, I think we're really in a great period for racing in the state. Now, the dirt tracks have always had their really, really loyal fan base. There's some big events. Those guys their big events seem to pay a ton of money and generate a lot of interest that way. As far as the grassroots stuff on the pavement side, the big races are suddenly paying twice as much as they had, or 50% more than they had. And it's not just that the money's there. The fact that the reason the money is there is because somebody was interested in putting it up. That means they're getting a return on investment. They're seeing the value in investing in short track racing. And that's fabulous. So that helps the racer. The more racers turn out, the more fans turn out. It's a nice circular thing. This is a kind of a neat thing within the last couple of years that it's great to see. Now, obviously, when you talk about racing in the state, Road America is the top dog. You used to think of the Milwaukee Mile as the top dog. Unfortunately, the offerings there are pretty minimal, but the ARCA Midwest Tour was there on Father's Day weekend, and then the ARCA National Series is coming up here at, where are we, in a month or so?
Yeah.
I can't keep track of my calendar at this point, but something like that. And so these are interesting events. People say they love the mile. People say they love racing. Then they need to get out and support those events. And, hopefully they're doing a good job of connecting a lot of sort of less familiar names or unfamiliar names. This is an opportunity for fans to get to know some of those people, maybe before they hit the big time, or they're going to be a little bit more approachable. You're going to be able to get next to Sammy Smith in a way that you can't get next to Chase Elliott. You know what I mean? So right. I think that's an opportunity for the mile. I think it's a benefit to the events that are at the mile. While it's not the big show, there's opportunities there, and so it's not what it was when I started 32 years ago, certainly, but it's a part of the Wisconsin racing scene, and I hope it can ride the wave with the rest of the racing in the state.
Dave, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for joining us on a moment's notice. We appreciate it, and we'll talk again down the road. Okay.
All right. I look forward to it, Bill.
Thanks, pal. Talk to you soon. There you go. Dave Coleman. He joined us, the race writer for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You can find his stuff on Twitter. You can find his stuff there on at the Journal-Sentinel, as I had mentioned. Add Dave Coleman, Kallmann, Kallmann. That's Dave Coleman, the race writer for the Journal-Sentinel. Speaking of racing, this portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Wabam. Go to getwabam.com, find the Wabam race team racing all over the state of Wisconsin, but also, and more so than anything, out at Slinger. Speedway in Slinger, Wisconsin. But check them out, and they have all kinds of great products. As a matter of fact, some of the new products, they continue to come out, different polishes, different cleaners, things that are spectacular when it comes to motorcycles, cars, boats. Got to see this stuff for yourself. Or if you just have everyday cleaning supplies or industrial or janitorial, go to getwabam.com. That is getwabam.com and check it out. They are Wisconsin-based. Ryan DeStefano, not only is he one of the guys that owns Wabam, but also he's one of the race car drivers as well. And they like I said, they do a lot with Matt Kenseth. So go to GetWabam, W-A-B-A-M, getwabam.com, and see all that they have to offer. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Want to make your summer even better? Potawatomi Hotel and Casino has 500,000 ways, like winning your share of $500,000 in cash and prizes. Over 100 winners every Thursday. For your chance to win, just play with your club card July 1st through the 28th. So go ahead, book that beach vacation, that up north cottage getaway, or make it a staycation to remember. Your summer just got even better. Only at Potawatomi.
Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. The Bill Michaels Show continues on. Hey, don't forget, coming up on Sunday, September 4th, we ride for veterans, military members, their families. Can't do it without you. It started 15 years ago. It has grown every year since, even during the pandemic. And last year was our biggest ever. We had 767 bikes. I don't know how many people. It was over 1,000 people that joined us when you talk about people riding twos. But it was our biggest ever. And we're hoping on this 15th anniversary coming up that we break that record. So if you own a motorcycle, know somebody who does, you ride in a group, whatever it happens to be, please come out and join us for Fisher House, Wisconsin, coming up Sunday, September 4th. And we have some great prize packages only for those who pre-register. Now, we have the prize package is fantastic. You get a 75-inch TV if you win the poker run. You get beer for a year from our friends over there at Bud Light, all kinds of different products that they have at Beechwood Distributing. So, and other prizes to go along with that. But for those that pre-register, and it also not only does it, you can pre-register and win some prizes, but it gives you a price break a little bit too. Even though it is a fundraiser, it's a little bit of a price break. So the day of, it's $25 a person, period. If you pre-register and you're going to have a passenger, it's $25 for the bike. And for the passenger, then I think it's only $15. You get a $10 break. And then you are registered to win one of 4 ticket packages. 1 ticket package is from the Bucks, 1 ticket package is from the Brewers, 1 ticket package is for the Badgers, and 1 ticket package is a racing package for Road America. So we're giving all of those away the day of. If you want more information, go to facebook.com/Big Unit Poker Run, facebook.com/Big Unit Poker Run, or just go to fisherhousewi.org and go to the events page, scroll down, and click on it and get pre-registered. You can do it all right now. But either way, please get pre-registered. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday, September 4th, Labor Day weekend. We start out at Milwaukee Brewing, downtown 9th Street, downtown Milwaukee. We have a tremendous ride on all scheduled out for you. And then we're going to end up at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. We're going to stop at the Rock Complex and the Umbrella Bar and out by where the Milkmen play, the Milwaukee Milkmen, down in the Rock Complex. Then going to historic Alpine Valley, both the resort, the chalet, and the music theater. And then after that, we're going to ride over to a traditional biker bar, which is right there in Eagle, which is Knuckleheads. And then after that, we end up heading to Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Really good stuff. So please come out and join us. We can't do it without you. We need you. We need you. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Come back. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Green Bay Packers will begin their training camp next Wednesday. This Friday, though, is when rookies report. Monday will be the shareholders meeting, and then Tuesday, the 26th, is when veterans come in. Also, the first 3 public Packers camp practices, July 27th, 28th, and the 30th, will begin at 10:45 a.m. and open to the public. Head coach Matt LaFleur talks about his team's extended time off before they get underway next week.
You got to take advantage of your opportunity. Obviously, there's a standard of which you have to conduct yourself, not only on the field, but off the field as well, and understand that you represent the Green Bay Packers. And, we're very fortunate that we've got a very strong locker room. And I think that really comes from the veteran leadership we have on this team.
To Major League Baseball, last night was the All-Star game. The AL would beat the NL 3-2, winning for the 9th year in a row. The only Milwaukee Brewer to make an appearance in the game was Brewers relief pitcher Devin Williams, who struck out 1 in a scoreless inning of work. Brewers get back underway this Saturday when they welcome in the Colorado Rockies to American Family Field.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
1 year ago today, the Milwaukee Bucks earned their first NBA title in more than 50 years. Now they're shoring up their roster. Pat Connaughton finalized a 3-year, $30 million deal, and the Bucks just announced yesterday they re-signed center Serge Ibaka, who played with the Bucks for 19 games last season, averaging 7 points and 5.3 rebounds. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo. If I lived in a setting where there were adjacent yards, I would say during the week, maybe 8 a.m., 7 a.m. could make sense somewhere in that window. During the weekend, I would move that back to 8 to 9 in the morning.
Yeah, I never start anything until after 8 a.m. I'm pretty decent that way. But I was up at 5:30, 6 this morning. And like I had mentioned yesterday, was on vacation all last week. So all the yard work that I normally do. And I'm pretty meticulous. I'm one of those guys that walk around the yard and pull weeds by hand, and see something like, ooh, and you pull that. It's got to look right, because I'll drive down the street as I'm coming home or leaving, and I look and I'm like, oh, that looks terrible. I got to go back and cut that or trim that or whatever, If the bushes are trimmed, but like you got one sprout sticking out, I got to be that guy that goes over with the scissors and cuts that off. It bothers me. I guess my OCD kicks in. And I've got 2 trees right now that I got to trim, and they're not really trees. They're like bushes, but they're just so overgrown. It ain't funny. And I don't even know how to get up there and get them anymore. I thought about renting one of those lifts so I could just drive it through my front yard and put myself up in a cherry picker to trim my bushes. These big giant trees of some type. I don't even know what the hell they are. But anyway, so this morning got up early and got outside, finished washing all the windows in the house. I do it twice a year. I do it in the spring. I do it in the kind of like the summer/fall. After some of the hard rain. So I did all that today. I got people coming to the house. So I'm getting the yard nice, getting the patio, the tiki bar and everything nice, because people are coming to town for the Buffett concert this weekend. Getting all that together, that type of stuff. So I can't wait to get back outside and finish up what I started. And then tonight, I got to get it all done in a timely manner, because tonight we're going down to Wednesday Night Live at the Butt Pavilion at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. So we're going to be down there tonight. So, but I never start anything before 8 a.m. And my neighbor has 2 newborns. One who's like, I shouldn't say newborn, one who's like a couple of years, maybe a year and a half old. And the other one is relatively new. So I try not to be too loud and wake them up, especially if they've had long nights and not been able to sleep because of the kids. So I try to be a good neighbor, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So try to.
What, was someone out there ripping it this morning?
Not really. But I always wonder, I kind of bring stuff to the show when I have questions. It's kind of like when I had when I was in the public park and I was way away from people smoking a cigar, and one of the baseball coaches got mad at me and said, you can't smoke at league games. Like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm not near anybody. I'm outside, so, and I got a lot of people that reacted to that. I wanted to see if my feelings and my thoughts are along line of the masses, or if I'm doing something wrong and egregious, then I want to know about it. Because then maybe my opinion is different and somebody can explain to me why my opinion is wrong and the mass opinion would be right. So sometimes you check your moral compass at the door of this program.
Yeah. I wish I could bring answers. I'm not at that stage of owning a yard yet.
Yeah, I know.
We're close.
That's okay. That's okay.
Ebo's the yard guy. He's very proud of his flowers.
Yeah, I've seen Ebo work a little outside. Ebo's a naturist. He's always hiking. he's got the cat out with him, and they're out doing flower child stuff and concerts and venues and such. So yeah, I either that or they're working out. He's taking booty shots of his wife doing squats with some kind of cool booty rap music in the background, which I thought was fantastic. He's like, yeah, she loves it. I'm like, okay, hey, go with that. So yeah. Not that it's really weird because we talked to him about that on the air. What was it, like 2 weeks ago? Remember that?
Yeah.
And yeah. I asked him about it. I had a buddy of mine call me up and go, do you really watch videos of a guy you work with, his wife's ass? I said, no, it's just as you're scrolling Instagram, they're just there. It's not like you're searching them out going, looking up Jen booty shots or anything like that, No, it's just as you're scrolling by, there's Ebo working out. You're like, oh, look at him, He's flexing the guns. Up there's his wife. She's doing squats, and he's doing booty shots. You got to
stop the scroll, Bill. So, stop the scroll.
I just, but that's just it. I just scroll. I don't search. I'm not one of those guys that get too deep into stuff and start looking for things. I just scroll. That's it. I just scroll and search. I don't get specific. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. That's the way I kind of look at life. If it's in front of me, otherwise it's effort. And I don't like to put effort into that. Not into social media. Not unless I'm trying to find something specific that I absolutely positively need to pay attention to, say, for the show. But other than that, if it comes up, great. Otherwise, nah, not going to happen. 877-867-1670. That's the phone number we were asking a little bit earlier. Should you like to answer the question, if indeed you are looking at the Green Bay Packers as they are on the couple of eves before training camp, as training camp gets underway next week, what is the biggest concern going into the training camp season for the Green Bay Packers? I think the majority of people right now, after looking and reading all of this, I think the majority of it is that people are, most concerned about the offensive line. If I had to put my finger on it, most concerned about the offensive line. While on one hand, I will say that a lot of people talk about the wide receiving core and or special teams, which are not out of the realm of possibility. I agree with that. But I think the number one thing that people are concerned about is the offensive line. David Bakhtiari coming back, Elton Jenkins, when he's going to be back, if they can't go, if they're ineffective, who's going to take over, and then the depth after that. So, this one is from Peggy, who says, my number one concern is David Bakhtiari. Has anybody got an update as to whether or not he's doing okay, or is he still nursing the knee, or what? We'll find out from Mike Clemens coming up in about an hour from now. About an hour from now, we'll check. I have not. We know Bakhtiari's been working out. They've talked about it. Matt LaFleur seemed to, at least for a brief period of time, put some calm into the David Bakhtiari story during the last OTA and minicamp, when he just said, look, we expect David to be ready to go come training camp. So that was a little more emphatic than what we've heard prior to that during the lead up. But nobody's definitely said, oh yeah, David Bakhtiari, no problem. He's good to go. No problem. So we're waiting to see if anybody or everybody has seen David working out, and he's going to throw the pads on, and he's going to be one of the first ones out there come training camp. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, I think you cross your fingers, you say a couple of novenas, you hold your breath a little bit. Because if he can't go, it's not like all is lost, because you still have Josh Nijman, you still got Royce Clayton, you still got a decent offensive line. You still have John Runyon, Josh Myers. You've got guys that can fill the bill. The problem is it begins then to affect your depth. And we all know depth on the offensive line is paramount. But here's one thing to think about, is depth in the offensive line and offensive line coaching and offensive line play has not necessarily been an issue. The offensive line, specifically the offensive line coaching, has been fantastic. This offensive line, for the most part, has held up. It wasn't until guys that had been out a long time, such as Bakhtiari, such as Billy Turner and such, came back last year at the end of the season, it just looked like they were rusty. And the offensive line did not perform well in one of the biggest moments, and that was against the San Francisco 49ers. So I think the offensive line is going to be fine, but you can run if it does come down to, we'll say, some injury issues. You can run into some depth problems. John says, no way Bakhtiari is going to be 100%. He's going to be rusty. He hasn't played in almost a year and a half. Yeah, but that's what training camp is for. If he's healthy enough to practice at training camp, I'm fine with it. I think he's going to be okay. The question is not whether or not he's going to be fine after stepping onto the field for training camp. The question is whether or not he's able to step on the field and go through the rigors of training camp without any additional knee injuries or issues. I shouldn't say injuries, issues such as swelling or pain or discomfort or flexibility issues and what have you. That's what you're looking for. 877-867-1671. Hit us up by all means. Go ahead and do so. This one's from Cheddar Dave out of the email inbox, and he says, Bill, first of all, he says, great show. Then he says, I'm not concerned about David Bakhtiari. I think he's going to be fine. I think this was all a smokescreen to take the pressure off of him. I'm more concerned about Elton Jenkins and when he returns. If he has knee problems like Bakhtiari did this past year, then when would you expect Elton Jenkins to be back, if at all? Then they have to fill the bill on the right tackle position, and then depth becomes an issue there as well. How good are the rookies? We talked a little bit about that, not only with Mike Clemens, who we're going to hear from, like I said, coming up in about an hour, but also Wayne Larrivee about a month ago, when we were talking about whether or not Sean Ryan would move out and become that right tackle. They drafted Zach Tom as well. Sean Ryan's probably a little more suited to be able to be moved around a little bit. You don't forget, you still have Cole Van Landen. He's another guy that you can move into a certain position, whether it's guard or tackle. He's more suited to guard, most believe, but he could play it if absolutely necessary. But I really like their pickups. Jake Hansen, most likely going to be the backup center. Sean Ryan, Zach Tom, both of those guys going to be groomed to play both positions, whether it's tackle or guard. Cole Van Landen can play tackle and guard. He's more suited for a guard size-wise than he is a tackle, but he does have at least the ability to do it in a pinch. But just, you got to hope that Bakhtiari's okay. Nyman and Royce Clayton are going to be right there. They can bounce him outside. Maybe even if you have to move Sean Ryan or Zach Tom into the guard position, you bounce Royce Newman out to the outside tackle position if you have to. I think they have enough versatility to be good. If you don't have Bakhtiari and you don't have Elton Jenkins, then you're still going to be covered, but your depth becomes an issue should there be an injury. That's where you start to have a bit of a concern, more so than anything. So hopefully that explains at least my side of thinking when you talk about the depth issue and about the concern for the offensive line. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we'll get more into this. Got a lot more to talk about as well. There's many other things to discuss. As a matter of fact, there is some stuff out that talks about the NFL power rankings and projections for every team in the NFL. That just came out via the four-letter network. We're going to get into that discussion and the overall scores and where the Green Bay Packers place in that. That's coming up next. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at New Mail Medical, treating guys with ED all over the state of Wisconsin and well beyond the borders. If you have it, you know it. And if you don't, you thank God you don't. Then you have other issues maybe. Maybe you're tired, you're moody, you're sluggish, you're over the age of 30. Stop in and get your numbers checked. They can say, look, maybe a little with the low T going on. Maybe you need some supplements, some vitamins, things that you have. Maybe a little bit of a not malnourished, but maybe the malnutrition when it comes to some of the supplements and or vitamins that your body needs on a daily basis. Maybe there's the all-in-one weight loss program. You're looking at yourself going, holy crap, I put on weight. T-shirt season is not doing me any kind of favors right now. I'll tell you that right now. So maybe you need the all-in-one weight loss program. Whatever it is, you can garner yourself a brand new you. They can make you better. Just go to New Mail Medical. New Mail Medical Center. The medical experts, they can help you. They can point you in the right direction. Call them 414-455-4451. That's 414-455-4451. Again, 414-455-4451, locations in Wisconsin and all throughout. But one phone number. Again, 414-455-4451. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I hate being late to the ballpark.
You just missed a home run. Gina Della from Pella. I can't believe my seat is next to yours. Peanut? I'm allergic to them.
Aw, nuts. You know, I'm always late to things. No one procrastinates like me. The worst is that I missed out on that incredible deal you were offering at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Missed what? It just started. Get beautiful Pella windows and pay no interest for 4 years.
That's the one.
Imagine the money you'd save by not paying interest for 4 years.
Okay, don't rub it in.
Rub what in? The deal just started at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Seriously?
Yep.
You're just making an exception because you feel bad for me.
No, for real. It's hard to believe that a deal this good exists, but it does. You just missed another home run?
Oh, this is too important. I'm trying to find the website on my phone.
It's PellaWI.com.
Talked a little bit about it yesterday. It is now on the radar. And we all know that our friends up in Peshtigo, Forgotten Fire Winery, fantastic. The Moscato that they had come out with, they finally have Moscato back in stock. Oh, that was so good. Oh, my goodness. So good. I'm a Moscato fan anyway, a little bit sweeter wines, but nevertheless, it was really, really, really good. But now if you go to the store in Peshtigo, if you go to the winery and tell them I want the Bill Michaels deal, oh, they're going to give you a deal. I'm not kidding. They've had such a good reaction where people walk in and use our name that they're giving you a bit of a discount. So go into Forgotten Fire Winery in Peshtigo. If you're doing a winery tour throughout the state, stop by and drop our name, and they will give you a discount. There is a Bill Michaels special. I kid you not. I kid you not. However, let's just say you're not in Peshtigo, okay? Maybe you're going to your local Woodman's. Maybe you're going to your local grocery store, liquor store, wine store, whatever it happens to be. Just look for it. ForgottenFireWinery.com. ForgottenFireWinery.com. Look at all the different things that they have to offer, whether it's the Moscato or the Hot Mess or whatever the name of the wine happens to be. They have many different types. But stop in and check out Forgotten Fire Winery in Peshtigo, or stop into your local grocery store, liquor store, wine store, and say, Forgotten Fire Winery. Point me in that direction. I want to give them a shot. I want to try them because they just believe in fun in a bottle. That's it. Fun in a bottle. They don't care about being pretentious or snooty. Don't drink with your pinky out. Yes. No, just enjoy. If you're a wine enthusiast, or maybe you just enjoy good wine. There you go. There you go. So Robert in Eau Claire wants to know what I think about undervaluing a good kicker. Now, when he says that, does that mean, at the thought of the loss of Mason Crosby after this season when the contract runs out?
And just with it being a fair concern about the team after the performance last season?
I think that there was far more associated to the process, in my opinion, than what we were, told publicly. If you go back and you watch a lot of the film, and I don't want to sit here and just completely rip the hell out of Corey Bojorquez, but Bojorquez often had issues. And I think what happens is you have a rhythm, okay? Hut, snap, and you're already moving as a kicker, kick, swing, operation, okay? It's all timing, operation. And I think what happens is when you have a holder that begins to screw up the operation, you have hesitation. You don't get into a rhythm. And I do think that there was more than a few holds that weren't proper. It caused the ball to drift. We've already been through this, so I don't have to go through this whole thing again about the direction the laces have to be. Either straight forward or straight back, but you can't go left or right because that's where the ball's going to go. So I think part of it was that. And I think after a while, part of it just got into his head that there was going to be a problem. The old adage is you were conditioned to think a certain way. And if every time you walk past somebody, they punch you in the arm, then the next time that person comes by you, or the time after that, or the time after that, you flinch a little thinking that you're going to be punched in the arm, even if they don't do it. I think the same thing can happen for kickers. Your repetition becomes skewed because of problems. And after a while, I just think it gets into your head, and then things went south. Now you've got a new holder. Obviously, it's a new year. It's a new opportunity. It's a new chance to get into rhythm, if you will. And Pat O'Donnell is familiar with Bisaccia. He's a guy that comes highly recommended, very good with the operation, with the process. So when you talk about undervaluing a kicker, okay, let me go back because I want to answer your question. I think part of it's the process. But when you have a kicker that's a veteran, that's made big kicks in big moments, there's something to be said for that. But I think, to me, more so about than anything right now is getting the process and the timing right consistently every time. Every time. Sometimes, it can be just a bad snap and such, but I think it's so much dependent upon the holder. So Pat O'Donnell is a guy that's supposed to be a large, and I got to admit, I'm not a guy that sits down and watches the process of punters and how they hold for kickers. That's not me. I only go by what I'm told. And from what I hear is Pat O'Donnell is so much better at the process and about the operation and the hold than what Bojorquez was, which was one of the reasons Bojorquez was jettisoned. That and the inconsistency. So I'm just thinking part of it's the kicker, yes, and the ability and the concentration and such. But the other part of me says it's also the operation. And we have seen that now go from good to bad, and now we'll see if it goes back to good again. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Let's see here. What else do we have? This is from Jake, who says, what are your thoughts on TJ Slayton this season? I hope he takes the next step. I hope after being a 5th rounder last year, I hope that he, your quote sophomore year, if you will, you have that off season now. Okay. You have the off season. You now go away, you rest, you relax. You know what's expected of you. You know what your workout routine is. You know what it's like to be an NFL player. You know the bulk you're going to begin to put on. You know what your goals are when they send you away in the offseason. So now we'll see how TJ Slayton reacts. It would be a huge benefit if TJ Slayton was a really formidable backup for Kenny Clark, to have then Dean Lowry, Kenny Clark, Jerron Reed, Devontae Wyatt, TJ Slayton, all able, even Jonathan Ford to a certain extent, who they drafted in the 7th round, but all of those guys, if they can rotate that beef up front and to have it be sustainable and grinding on an offensive line, specifically the interior of an offensive line, it makes such a difference. And it makes the guys behind you, like Quay Walker, like Devondre Campbell, like Chris Barnes, it makes them so much better, because then you legitimately you can't handle these guys like Kenny Clark and Jerron Reed and Dean Lowry and TJ Slayton, Devontae White. If you can't handle them one-on-one, then it begins to open things up for guys like Rashawn Gary, Eric Stokes, even your corner coming off the edge and such. It makes things better for Preston Smith. It makes things better, as I had mentioned before, for Chris Barnes. It makes things better. You take a guy like Darnell Savage, the free safety coming off the edge. You can then pick and choose when to use Stokes, when to use Savage, when to use Douglas, when to use Adrian Amos, when to bring those guys, if you need it. It makes things so much better. It just does. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Let's go ahead and do so. Let's go to the phone calls. Let's go to Robert. Robert, welcome to the program, man. What's going on? Nope. He gone.
Called back, I'm sorry, to clarify the question about the kicker.
Okay.
I was wondering, in terms of points and the production a kicker could bring, whether it is worth drafting one, and specifically in the first round.
Oh, God, no. No, I would never, ever, ever draft a kicker in the first round. Just so you know. Just no, not happening. Maybe 5th, 6th, or 7th, and 5th is a stretch. Unless he's a kicker that is just stunning in college and hitting it consistently inside the pro hashes versus the college hashes, and he's doing it from 60 in, there is no way I'm ever drafting a kicker above round 5. Never.
I think there was one of those, the Georgia Tech kid from a couple years ago, but then he got to the NFL and missed everything.
No, just not happening.
Aguayo was his name.
Not happening. I've just, all you have to do is say BJ Sander. Not happening.
Who's that?
He was a punter. Had to go out and get a punter. The punting was not good in the playoffs, and Mike Sherman drafted a punter, and it's like, oh my God. No. 3rd round. No. Bad move. Not drafting a kicker, not drafting a punter. You can bring in numerous kickers and punters and usually find somebody formidable enough that can at least get you through. It's not going to be perfect, but can at least get you through. Otherwise, no. Not wasting a draft choice on it. Not going to happen.
Do you remember Rich Eisen's whole rant during the draft a couple years ago when a punter got selected?
It was
the best moment ever. I'll try to find the audio. It doesn't have to
people
do with
are bringing
anything,
up Sebastian Janikowski. Remember the comments by, Peyton Manning talking about, quote, our idiot kicker? Sebastian Janikowski. He was good. Was he first round choice good? No. He was another kicker. No. I think if they had to do it all over again, there's no way in hell you take Sebastian Janikowski. No way. Ain't happening. I'm just not. I bought in the past, and I have learned my lesson. Just like every time I would pick a team, when I would pick Jameis Winston to get me a win, every damn time they would lose. Every time. So I just learned my lesson. I quit betting on Jameis Winston. He was so inconsistent, and every time I think, okay, here you go. Nope. So I learned the same thing with kickers. Nope, not happening. Never taken a kicker above round 5. And if I take him at 5, he better be unbelievable. I mean, like stunning unbelievable. This is Rich Eisen talking about a kicker being taken, or a punter being taken. Take a listen.
Of NFL draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Brian Anger, punter, California.
Punter.
We've got a punter. Let me tell you something, people. Punters are people too, and I want to see some punting footage. Give me some punting XO. Punting XO.
We can all imagine.
Punting XO, Teddy. Yes. What a kick.
Anger is a punter.
He's a weapon. He's not a punter. He's a weapon.
Just leave it there.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, Rich. Take the route.
I want this one.
I want to know who fielded the ball inside the 5 on the fly.
Hey,
I want to know who that was.
Wasn't Sepulveda a punter from Cal?
Yeah, no, Sepulveda was from Baylor.
I'll just be quiet. I want more footage. Punt it.
But here's the thing to remember, Rich.
East West Shrine punter.
East West Shrine.
All of that over a punter. I'd rather slam an appendage in a car door than watch a punter be taken at 3rd. Ain't happening. People are all about Janikowski. That's fine. Tell me another punter taken in round 1. And don't forget Janikowski got traded or got let go too. Again, you can talk about Janikowski all you want. Is he a Hall of Famer? Way overvalued. Way overvalued. He was a good kicker. I'm not denying that. I'm not saying he wasn't a good kicker. I'm saying there's no way in hell I'm taking it number 1. Never, ever, ever taking a kicker or a punter in the 1st round. Never. I'm not doing it. If you want to do it, that's fine. If you're that confident, I'm sure you were all at home sitting there saying, you know what? The Colts, they got to take Janikowski. You got to take a kicker. You got to take him. No, you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, I need a wide receiver. I need a defensive lineman. I need an offensive lineman. I need a left tackle. I need a running back. Anything. I need a better beer vendor than taking a kicker or a punter in the 1st round. Not happening. Not happening. We got to go back to Ray Guy. Really? That's how far we got to go back? No, ain't happening. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We continue on this portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Quick Trip. Top tier alternative fuels, no fee ATMs. That's the best. Go in there and get your money for free, which is what you're supposed to get it for. And obviously use your Quick Rewards card when you're there. They're giving away all kinds of stuff. Right now, they got a promo going on with Mountain Dew. They've got cash for the summer. They got so many good things happening at Quick Trip. You can't do anything if you don't stop in, for one. And secondly, if you don't use that Quick Rewards card. See all the stores for details. But I'm telling you, Quick Trip, love having Quick Trip right here in our own backyard. No way I'm taking a kicker in the first round. Just ain't happening. Ain't happening. Nope. Sebastian Janikowski, I get it. He had a long career with Oakland, wrapped up with Seattle. Somebody brought up Vanderjagt, and that was who Peyton Manning called the idiot kicker. We're talking about our idiot kicker who got liquored up and ran his mouth. I remember that. No, I'm sorry. It's not happening. That's fine. You can talk about their stats and about how good you think they were. That's great, but I'm not taking a kicker number. Why are we arguing about kickers going number one? That's what I want to know.
Robert was passionate.
That's fine. If you want to value a kicker that high, I think if you do, you're going to end up being wrong. You're going to let a lot of better players that are going to have more of an impact on your team go by the wayside. That's what it comes down to. Is, kickers can't put points on the board, okay? But for the value of the position that you draft them, I'm not going after a kicker. It's just me. It's my preference. It's not going to happen. I've seen way too many. Janikowski is kind of like the exception to the rule. He was a good kicker, no doubt. He had a long career. Yes, I understand it. But I'm not valuing that position at a kicker. I'm going to go find me a more impactful player on a consistent basis. That's all. Brian says, Morton Anderson dating my baby sister when the Saints come to a lacrosse for training camp. Oh my God. Here we go. We're going back to Ray Guy, Morton Anderson, Janikowski back in 2000. I'm sorry, I'm not. And Janikowski, he was a kicker. He was a good kicker. Well, because I had to look his stats up. For his career, he hit 80.4% of his kicks for his career. He tied the record with a 63-yarder in 2011. And that was the year that he hit 88.6% of his kicks. He was 100% for the majority of his career on extra points. He made 28 out of 29 in 2003, missed one in 2004. Missed one in 2008 and missed a couple 2015, 2016, and missed a couple, 3 of them in 2018. Missed 3 of them. But again, I don't know why we're worried about kickers. But I get the question.
How much? A punter. He's a weapon. He's not a.
He's a weapon. Punters now can flip the field. Punters can give you hang time for coverage, and they can also be a weapon in the sense of field position. That I get. They can get you out of a hole, or they could put the opponent into a hole. But I'm still not going after a punter or a kicker in the first round. Robert is apparently appalled at the lack of respect for punters and kickers that I have. I respect them. You need them. Okay? I'm not saying you don't need them. It's not a lack of respect. It's a lack of respect for the ranking. I think you obviously have to have them. They're part of your special team. Special teams is a third of the game. I get it. But I am not valuing a punter or a kicker above a 5th round draft choice. It's just, I'm not doing it. If you want to do it, that's fine. I'm not.
Kickers are kind of like a toilet plunger. Like you need it. You don't need to spend that much money on it because you can get them everywhere.
That commentary, ladies and gentlemen, for all of you punters and kickers, brought to you by one Ben Z. Kenny of the Bill Michaels Show. Equating a kicker to a plunger. But I get it. You're right. In that analogy, you're right. You need it. You have to have it. But you're not going to use it all the time. And it's not one of the most valuable. You're not going to go out and the first thing, when you buy a new house, what's the first thing you buy? If you're walking into an empty house, what are you going to buy?
Probably start with like a bed, something very significant.
Right? You're going to use all the time. Bed, TV, couch, dishes. You're going to go in that, maybe a desk, place to work. The last thing you're buying is the plunger.
Shower curtain as well. Shower curtains get you.
Shower curtain.
You don't think you need one, and then you realize you don't have it.
Yeah, until you shower and you got water all over your floor. You know?
Exactly.
So you're not getting the plunger. You're not walking into a new home going, man, what if the crapper backs up? Holy mackerel. We have to run right now to the hardware store and get ourselves a plunger. Before we buy a television, before we buy a bed, before we buy a couch, any place to lay our head down, just in case I get, the gut bubbles, we have to go find ourselves a plunger. Because it could happen at any moment in time. I could unleash a catfish that will then plug the entire system in the neighborhood. Got to go get one.
But then there are some households that definitely need one more often.
Oh, sure. You either have
some people are a little more explosive.
Well, you either have bad plumbing or you're somebody who enjoys cheese. You're dropping some bricks in that thing. By the way, Mark says, hey, what about the kicker that came in from Philadelphia that had the movie made about him? Ask Ben. Ben, what about the kicker that in Philadelphia had the movie made about him?
Is he talking about the garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia phenomenon movie? Because that was a horrid film.
The garbage picking, field goal kicking Philadelphia movie. Oh, my goodness.
It's a real film.
It is a real film.
Disney tells you enough.
Yeah. Tony Danza was in that movie, if I'm not mistaken. Because it was, I think it was Tony Danza, right?
Yes, correct. It was.
Tony Danza. Who's the boss?
A Philadelphia garbage man.
As a field goal kicker. Yeah, giving the average Joe a shot in the NFL, as they put it.
Many people have made jokes about Philadelphian garbage for years after that film.
Yep. No wonder Philadelphians are angry. They had a field goal kicker who was a garbage man. I've always said every now and then you can find a beer vendor. If he can fight through the crowd, he could probably block for a running back. There you go.
Then they made that damn movie about Vince Papale.
Oh, man. There you go.
And Rocky's not even real.
Yeah, right? Rocky's not even real. Rocky's tiny, too, by the way. You ever stood next to Sylvester Stallone? I could step over him.
Well, you're tall.
He's tiny.
You're a large guy.
He's tiny.
But it's messed up. The first athlete you think of, everybody in the country, when you think of Philadelphia, I guarantee you at least half would say Rocky. And I have trouble with that because it's fake.
Yeah, I mean, the first player I think of when I think of Philadelphia is Allen Iverson. That's the first one I think of. Dr. J, I start going through that whole list. So I'm a little different that way. Pete Rose,
statue.
When Pete Rose and Mike Schmidt were teamed up in the Phillies organization. So
no statue for AI though. Statue for Rocky.
Statue for Rocky. Correct. There you go. We got off onto a really weird tangent. Hey, coming up here in about 10 minutes, Mike Clemens going to be joining us. We'll talk some more football. And I will ask Mike where he values a kicker so Robert doesn't lose his damn mind because he's in Eau Claire right now. I guarantee you he's like driving over to Pizza Del Rey and he's just trying to break through the wall to get in and punch that clown right in the face. So anyway, I want to ease his tensions just a little bit. There you go. Dr. J, first guy that comes to mind when you talk about Philadelphia. That's from Darren. We're going to step away, take a quick break, come back. Got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others. Time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports-themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine. A place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad to have you on board. Hey, don't forget, if you're out at the Wisconsin State Fair, you can check in and see our friends over at the Milwaukee Admirals. I'm sure Wojo's probably going to be, Wojo's one of the upper executives, if you will. He's probably going to be at Wednesday Night Live tonight. I'll probably see him. But the Admirals, they're always out doing stuff in the community. So there's probably going to be a Milwaukee Admirals setup and such out there, and Roscoe's going to be running around. But also, don't forget, season tickets and tickets in general are on sale right now. Go to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com and get ready for the 2022-2023 season as the Admirals take to the ice yet again. They have advanced into the postseason for the first time in a while. Now they're looking to expound upon it. Look for playoff hockey coming at you next year for the upcoming season. For the Milwaukee Admirals, go to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. Again, that's MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. MilwaukeeAdmirals.com. Welcome back. Glad to have you. So the let's see here. I gotta. Steve says I can't find the picture of the clown from Pizza Del Rey. I gotta post it. I gotta pull it out. I'll track it down. It's this goofy clown that hangs in this machine. And you'll just be sitting there eating, and all of a sudden this thing just starts to make this creepy laugh, and it starts to move. It just, I don't know. Some people don't like clowns. I'm not one that necessarily is afraid of clowns, but like the clown from It, if you've ever seen the movie from Stephen King called It, yeah, it's I don't need that. That clown reminds me of that clown. So that's don't need that at all. Just FYI. So, oh my goodness. By the way, our buddy Dwayne from Dwayne's Cover It All says his biggest concern for the Packers going into training camp is the irrigation system and the sprinkler system at Lambeau Field. And I kind of had to pause for a minute. And he said, what about Mike Clemens doing a review on the sprinkler system at Lambeau Field? We'll have Mike coming up after the top of the hour to talk a little bit about the handheld watering system he bought for his home that showed the 90-year-old birthday of the what we'll call it the Depends dribble. So that's coming up here in just a little bit. He has his hose out. There you go. Oh my goodness. God, I love this program. Things just pop up every now and then. You just kind of move along with it. Troy says, my number one concern for the Green Bay Packers is Aaron Rodgers coming in with the right mindset, because if he is, all will be right with the world. Go, Pack, go. That is from our buddy Troy. Troy, appreciate the email. This one's from Sean, who says, watching David Bakhtiari in that last game of the season, he wasn't moving extremely well. Do you think he's going to be moving better? Do you think the knee is going to continue? I don't know. We'll talk with Mike about it coming up, but I don't know. Sean, look, all of this is speculation. Who the hell knows? No clue. No clue at all. Going back to the rankings of NFL teams, and I mentioned this going into one of the breaks, and I didn't get right to it, but we'll expound upon it coming up in the next hour. But ESPN says the overall scores for these franchises over the next couple of years, the Buffalo Bills are number one, followed by the Kansas City Chiefs. After that, you're kind of wondering who might it be? It's the Packers. Overall score of 87.7. Most of the attention paid to the Packers surrounds at least Aaron Rodgers. The biggest worry, while the quarterback situation for the short term has been settled, it's secure with Rodgers in the new contract. It does not change the fact that it remains the biggest question mark moving forward with no Devontae Adams. And then obviously if anything happens to Aaron Rodgers or he walks away, what are you left with? You know, what could change for the better? Green Bay has to figure out the Jordan Love future. He wants to play, but the Packers have shown so much trust in him that they've kept him around. They've jettisoned backups, but Jordan Love still remains the biggest X factor. And then you got to figure out whether or not, stat to know, Jair Alexander led all outside corners in yards per coverage in 2020. Can he repeat that again? So some things to think about in regards to the Green Bay Packers being the third best, at least ranked as the third best franchise overall by the Four Letter Network. Another hour yet to go. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. Mike Clemens joining us next.
Underway next week.
You got to take advantage of your opportunity. Obviously, there's a standard of which you have to conduct yourself, not only on the field but off the field as well, and understand that you represent the Green Bay Packers. And we're very fortunate that we've got a very strong locker room, and I think that really comes from the veteran leadership we have on this team.
To Major League Baseball, last night was the All-Star game. The AL would beat the NL 3-2, winning for the 9th year in a row. The only Milwaukee Brewer to make an appearance in the game was Brewers relief pitcher Devin Williams, who struck out one in a scoreless inning of work. Brewers get back underway this Saturday when they welcome in the Colorado Rockies to American Family Field.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the third largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
1 year ago today, the Milwaukee Bucks earned their first NBA title in more than 50 years. Now they're shoring up their roster. Pat Connaughton finalized a 3-year, $30 million deal, and the Bucks just announced yesterday they re-signed center Serge Ibaka, who played with the Bucks for 19 games last season, averaging 7 points and 5.3 rebounds. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome one, welcome all. We are glad you're here. Final hour of the Bill Michaels Show. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Cunis RV. An exciting day tomorrow as we get the brand new big unit cruiser. Looking forward to that. Can't wait to pick that up. Going to have it down at Jimmy Buffett and up at Packers Training Camp and then out at Sturgis in South Dakota, and got some traveling to do. Cunis, Wisconsin's fastest growing RV dealer. And I just did the other day a really nice letter from Caroline who talked about the service at Cunis and Sheboygan and what they went through and the over and above they did to take care of her when they were camping out at Road America. So just not only great vehicles that they have, but great service as well. No finer place. No finer place. Go to Cunis RV, K-U-N-E-S, CunisRV.com. That is CunisRV.com. Joining us now on the hotline, our good buddy Mike Clemens is here. Michael, how you doing, pal?
I'm great. I'll tell you, as hard as I try and work for this show, like I get to ask this question point blank of Aaron Rodgers right after that gut-wrenching loss to the 49ers. Like, what were you thinking throwing to Devontae when Alan Lazard was wide open? And he gives us an honest answer on that. Or like 2 or 3 summers ago, I said, hey, I think Jake Kumerow's in trouble. I think this kid, Malik Taylor's going to push him out. And we turn out to be right on that. No, when I run into people, I get like 4 or 5 of your listeners say, hey, Bill was talking about that garden hose video you did. That's what people want to talk about.
This one's called 90th birthday.
Yeah.
90th birthday. There you go.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We've got people
I'll
now wanting
to add on my list of things to do. I will talk to Alan Johnson, the Lambeau Field groundskeeper for the last 20 years on what he can recommend for, a better faucet head like that, a gun for to use and why they have such a setting like that. Now,
did you see that we had people recommending different products for you to review, and one of them was the potty putter?
Yes, I did. Yeah, this is a family show. I don't think we should go.
I wanted to see the video.
The thing with the stool, the pooper. What was that?
The butt putter. The pooper putter. That was awesome.
See, sometimes I say this to the program director. Why are you getting on us? The listeners are always more risque than we are.
Right.
They go blue before we do.
Yep, no doubt.
Not us.
Yep, they're more warped than we are.
Yeah.
They say what we think. That's what I like about it.
Sure.
So, Mike, what is let's start with David Bakhtiari, because we were sitting here talking before about people's concerns as the Packers are getting ready to go into training camp. And, we really didn't get a chance to, one, we didn't hear from him. 2, there was no definitive answer until really the end of the OTAs and minicamps when Matt LaFleur finally got tired of talking about it and said, yeah, we expect David to be here. But nobody has said, yeah, he's fine. He's going to be good to go. So how much concern is there for David Bakhtiari going into this training camp?
I will tell you point blank. My gut says it's 50-50. And I want to preface this by saying this training camp now will mark, I believe, my 12th season on the show. I think it was 2008 I started on your show. We've been friends for 20 years, as long as you've been in the state. But the best thing I love about being on the show is that I can tell things exactly the way I see them. I work for a host who, when he has a hot tip, Like, did you know the 49ers called the team last night and asked about trading for Aaron Rodgers? And he gets 1,000 people on Twitter say, oh, that's clickbait. Oh, you're making that up. And the next day, the 49ers admit, yeah, we called. And 4 days later, Mark Murphy says, yeah, we've been flying out to L.A. and taking turns the last 3 months. We're in a bit of a crisis. He's a complicated man.
Mhm.
You know, we don't make up clickbait on this show in my reports because we don't need to. We're there every day. And I'm just telling you, the same thing. If you come to the huddle and see us in a bar in person, than what I say on the air. I'm just telling you a gut. David Bakhtiari, to me, from what the coaches said and everything else, is 50-50. And it's a concern. It's been a year and a half since he has the torn ACL. Then I think there's some questions about how he was maybe over-conditioning and then had to have it scoped. His admittance in terms of the draining he had to do 15 out of 17 weeks last year, the half that he played against the Lions, those are the only snaps. And then they're trying to now be so careful with this guy to not even put him out there in the field during minicamp. We saw him all through the OTAs, but he's on the sidelines walking around, not on an exercise bike, just resting and healing. You know, you hope that that's enough healing time so that July 27th, he's on the field. If he's not, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if maybe they wait another couple of weeks. Don't be surprised if they have to wait until September. I don't know. That's up to the doctors. They'll have the final say. But, you know, it could be 2 years. But you say, you know what, we've invested in this guy. His career's not over, and we'll wait as long as it takes for that knee to go. If he's healthy and he can play and get through the start of training camp, you know, guarded, like taking rest and wear the brace, fine. So he's your left tackle. Then it's John Runyon, a left guard. And it's Josh Myers at center. And probably Royce Newman at right guard. And then Josh Nyman at right tackle. If Bakhtiari can't go, I assume he moved Nyman to left tackle. Then it gets interesting because Elton Jenkins is probably, with as well as Runyon played last year at left guard, Elton Jenkins is probably your new right tackle. But he'll start on the PUP. I mean, his ACL is November.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, he'll start out on the PUP. So these depth charts, like from the networks, have like Cole Van Lanen at right tackle. And I'm like, whoa, there's nothing I saw from the kid from Ashwaubenon and the Badgers last year that said he's quite ready to start. Or Caleb Jones or even Rasheed Walker, 7th round pick. That's a fuzzy area at right tackle if Bakhtiari's not there. And we know that Elton Jenkins won't be there at the start of training camp for the offensive line. So that's my take on it right there. I think it's 50-50.
So let's go with other concerns, Micah. We talked about the offensive line. And when, you know, I think everybody talks about the wide receiving group, and I don't have as much angst about the wide receiving core and Aaron Rodgers getting it done as maybe others do. Do you? Are you worried about, you know, Rodgers being able to throw the ball?
No. You know, you go back and forth with these theories like, well, you know, with Devontae Adams gone and, you know, over half of the passes went to Devontae last year. The rest, you know, went to scattered between 5 other receivers, and that this will force him to spread the ball around. No, he's not going to change. Aaron Rodgers looks for the guy he can count on the most, and he feeds him the most. He did that with Jordy. He did that with Devontae. He'll always look for that security guy because he plays football so he doesn't throw interceptions, and he plays on percentages, and he plays on guys that he can trust, and he judges defenses by his predictions, by percentages all the time. So I think, against what some of the other national depth charts say, I think it's Lazard. I think it's Sammy Watkins, the veteran at 29 years old, if he's healthy. It's Cobb in the slot. And then you're talking about Amari Rodgers and Malik Taylor and, you know, Juwan Winfrey. I talked about him in camp. He was impressive. Then he got injured and missed some of the preseason, but they try to get him in there late in the season. But, you know, the way Juwan plays, both as a receiver, sometimes he's on special teams, reminds you of MVS at times. Just by he's not as fast, nobody is, but, you know, he's close to that. So in terms of body types and all that, Christian Watson is really young with a lot of talent. I mean, he almost kind of reminds you, Look at those pictures of Giannis when he was 19, and how much he's changed. You hope that Christian Watson will build and get bigger in the upper body, and obviously smarter as a football player, but he's got a lot of potential. Some people have got him right there on the front line. They'll start the rookie. I would be surprised. But Romeo Doubs is an impressive, tough-minded football player. Kind of reminds you a little bit as a possession receiver over the middle, like James Jones did, once upon a time. Or a guy can actually beat some of these defensive backs on the sidelines. Samori Toure, the kid out of Nebraska, short, quick, speedy, fast cuts, maybe a future slot guy, 7th round. Even Rodgers mentioned at his locker during minicamp, hey, that kid had some moves too, and he did. In the one practice that we saw with Rodgers out there, they were featuring that kid over the middle, out of the slot, running some slants, and, he's pretty impressive. So they've got lots to pick from. And it's not to say that something still might happen during camp. I mean, something dramatic, like Julio Jones comes in and maybe plays half a season or something, or they know other kinds of receivers that could be on a team that might be deep at the position. This is a team that kept building and doing a better job of it than they had done the last 5 years, where they pick up guys like Rasul Douglas because they had a need. They picked up a great inside linebacker. There's some guys on a depth chart, on a pro depth chart, at some point in camp or in September, they'll be available, and the Packers will sign them and put them over one of these undrafted guys or draft picks, and they'll beef up their wide receiver crew like they've done with their the defense the last couple of years.
So let's go to the defensive side of the football. As we look at it, I know there's a lot of promise and a lot of hope for Jair Alexander to come back and have Pro Bowl form, obviously for Stokes to take the next step forward. Thoughts on the defense, but I'm going to go with some of the backups. TJ Slayton, another good year out of Dean Lowry, bringing in the rookies Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker. And then you look at some of the guys like, they re-sign Rasul Douglas to be kind of that nickel back there. So give me some of the depth guys on it, because we know the defense itself is going to be pretty good, but some of these depth guys, some of these guys that we don't talk about all the time, how they can impact this defense and make it that much better.
Defensive line, I got to wait 3 or 4 days into the start of camp next week before they put on the pads, and then I can watch them one-on-one. So I can't really tell you, except Packers defensive line on paper right now looks pretty darn good. Dean Lowry wasn't practicing during the spring. And then people start talking about moving money around, and do they have enough depth with some of the guys they brought in where maybe they could do to Dean Lowry what they did to Mike Daniels, a few years ago? I don't think it's at that point, but that name kind of comes up. Like, if you're looking to save some money and push it around for something else or help you in future years, could that happen? Two guys that I want to talk to are this Jerron Reed, now 29 years old, 5 years in Seattle for, GM John Schneider, the former Green Bay guy, and Pete Carroll. And then just the past year playing for Andy Reid and the Chiefs, 6'3", 313. Never got to talk to him really in the spring. So I'm interested to find out what he's all about. So that's the take on the defensive line. Inside linebacker with Devondre Campbell and Quay Walker. I can hardly wait to see the number 1 pick. He looks so sharp in every OTA snap, in every mini camp snap, and talking to the kid in the locker room. He looks like he's been in the NFL for 5 years. He is really exciting. So then you go to the corners, and you start off with some people saying one of the best corner setups you got in the NFL, with Jair coming back, with Stokes and the great rookie season he had, and Rasul. Maybe you put Rasul Douglas in at the slot, but man, the drop-off is dramatic after that if you need a backup.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Shaman Charles and, Keyshawn Nixon, and then there's this Rico Gafford guy who's gone back and forth from corner to receiver to, now this week back to corner. But, he played for the Raiders and did some special teams. So your new special teams coordinator, Rich Bisaccia, worked with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they know something about that. But that backup, that 4th and 5th corner, that's wide open. And the next one on defense, Bill, is the outside linebackers. Preston Smith seems to be destined to have a great year. He stepped up as a vocal leader last year with the absence of Za'Darius. I think there's probably going to be some more stories and backstories at the start of camp that'll come out of Minnesota on what really happened between the Packers and Za'Darius next week. I think that's when it's going to drop. But in the meantime, you got Rashawn Gary playing out of his mind and showing you that he wants to be the guy to the leader. But then it gets to be a real question mark. And those guys only played like 65% of the snaps last year, the way they run the defense and keeping guys fresh. So who's going to back them up?
Right.
Who's going to be the other outside linebackers? And that's a serious question mark. Kingsley Egnabare is the kid they brought up. They drafted in fifth round out of South Carolina. He's slender. He looks like a tall, fast, defensive end. He's going to have a shot. Jonathan Garvin, Goody seemed to be high on him in terms of what he showed last year. But that's going to be a wide open competition at backing up Smith and Rashawn Gary at outside linebacker.
Hey, tell me real quick about the guy they picked up at the strong safety, Tariq Carpenter. And if you mentioned him, it was a brief second, but Tariq Carpenter was a guy they picked up, I think it was the 7th round. And I've heard some decent things about him. Is there depth there, or is it a lot of raw talent?
I think there's some football IQ stuff that's impressive. Just talking to the kid out of Georgia Tech, and his coach stressed special teams, like put that first, and that showed up in terms of his versatility. So another position on your defense that after Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage, Vernon Scott. I mean, who's going to back up there? And you let Shandon Sullivan sign with the Vikings, so that's a kid to watch. I will tell you this overall, though. Quay Walker, Devontae Wyatt, the defensive lineman from Georgia, and then those receivers we mentioned like Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Samori Torrey, and then these offensive linemen, Bill, Sean Ryan, Zach Tom, those two kids. When you talk to them and you watch how they handle themselves during these OTAs and mini camps, you have a really good feeling. It's the same feeling you had watching Josh Myers or John Runyon Jr. when they first came to town, or even years past like Corey Lindsley or TJ Lang or Josh Sitton or even Tauscher, 20, 22 years ago. That draft has got 4 or 5 good football players in there, and give them a year or two to develop or maybe even sooner. But I felt really good about a lot of those picks in the draft class, just watching them this spring, just talking to them in the locker room. But some of those other positions we talked about, like corner, maybe back up outside linebacker and safety, those are concerning.
Mike, good stuff as always. Look forward to all the camp reports. We're only about a week away, and then I can't believe we're all back at it again. So enjoy the rest of the time off, and then we'll talk again next week, okay?
Yeah, got the stockholders meeting, and so we'll be, following that closely because, we want to see really what the finances are of the team after 2 years of COVID, and then 2 years ago, an empty stadium for most of the year, those kinds of things, and that's an important factor to talk about too. Is Mark Murphy, his clock is ticking with 3 years left, so we'll keep you posted on that. And by the way, today is National Hot Dog Day. Should I go get a can of Skyline and go chili dog? I might go Chicago dog someplace.
Yeah, you might have to. I didn't know. I was doing the hot dogs last night for the All-Star game, but now that you say that, I might have to do that.
Right. Yep. So we start off with hoses and then with hot dogs. You take it from there.
All right, and I'm telling you, the potty putter. We're looking at getting you the potty putter, and I look forward to the behind closed doors video of the access to the potty putter and the reviews.
I peed myself. I couldn't help it.
There you go. Good stuff.
Christmas is only 6 months away. Do your shopping now, man.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. There you go, Mike Clemens.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Mike Clemens, joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, the potty putter. Look it up. There's the butt putt, too. That's where you actually putt the ball into the, look up the butt putt. That's the other thing.
Careful, Bill.
I had to stop myself. There you go. Gonna go ahead and take a quick break. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Catch all the racing action at Road America. Camping and corporate events available as well. Go to roadamerica.com for all the information. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Some thanks to our friends at Skipper Buds. Not only do they have a great selection, specifically the one in Pewaukee that I drive past quite often, but also the job that they did on installing the brand new motor in my boat. And the Volvo 5.0, which is what the boat came with, so I didn't change it over to a Mercruiser. I wish I could have, but I didn't. The Volvo 5.0 V8 engine, and it ran like a champ. I mean, barely touched the key, fires right up, pump it once. I mean, just so good to go. They did such a great job. Top speed of the boat, now 67 miles an hour. It's just so good. Everything came out so great. Thanks to them at Skipper Buds. And if you're looking for a new boat, a used boat, pontoons, yachts, sport and deck boats, fishing boats, whatever, get a hold of my buddy Todd, who's the GM, the gentleman, the guy that makes the deals. Todd is the GM there. At the one in Pewaukee, 262-544-1200, 262-544-1200. but out in service, Ryan and Kathy, kudos to them. They did a fantastic job out there. Again, Skipper Buds in Pewaukee. That's where I go, but Skipper Buds are all over. Just go to skipperbuds.com if you're looking for a boat of any ilk. Let's see here. Mark says, good to hear from Mike, best reporter, always positive. Yeah, I know the spelling sucks. Which Mike is, I look for. Part of it is, I like I said, we talked about this earlier in the week. I can't believe that we're only 50 days away from the start of the NFL season. We're only a week away from training camp. I get all of that. And we live for football in this state. But it also means that the beginning and the end of summer is near. And that makes me depressed because I love summer. I love warm weather. I love everything about it. I love the tiki bar. I love watching baseball games outside. I love grilling out. I love riding the tractor and cutting the grass and doing yard work. I love all of that. Love it. But there is something to be said when football season gets here and we start bringing Mike in on a weekly basis, on a semi-daily basis, when we start talking Packers football. There is just something about it. It's that good as we start to do our football thing. And in my opinion, I think we do it better than anybody. Always have. So from going back since 1999, when I first moved into this state, and the attention and the way we break it down and the way we look at that team, I think we do it better than anybody, which is probably the reason a lot of people listen to this program. But I do look forward to football season for that reason. So yes, thank you very much. Andrew says, hey, have you checked out the photo that he sent of Pizza Del Rey's clown over on Twitter? Andrew, did you see what I posted during the last break? Did you see that? I have the actual picture that I took sitting in front of that thing, Ziggy the Clown, and he talks to you. And you don't even need to put money in it. And he just starts talking to you. It freaks me out. Just, and I go, so there you go. I did post it. I saw it. There you have it. Tucker says, hey, Unit, 1 year ago today, where were you when the Bucs hoisted the Larry O'Brien trophy? Tucker, I'm sitting in the exact same chair I was sitting in when they won the championship. I came home that night and was sitting right here in this chair. Now, I was there for some of the playoff games and the finals and taking video because I posted video as well on of the Deer District from up above when I was upstairs in the top of the Fiserv Forum with the deck that they have that goes outside and overlooks the Deer District. Because remember, I took some video too. It was, I can remember exactly where I was standing when the Packers won the Super Bowl. I was standing on the field at AT&T Stadium. I was on the Packers sideline in the Packers painted end zone as time wound down. I was standing there. Wayne and Larry are doing the broadcast. I knew I had some extra time because it was going to be a win and there was going to be a lot going on. So I had some extra time. So I ran down onto the field, and being part of the Packers side, I was allowed on and went right out and was a part of that celebration. I'll never forget it. As long as I live, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the bear hug that Ron Wolf gave me. I'll never forget high-fiving Donald Driver. I'll never forget talking to Charles Woodson, who got banged up. I'll never forget any of that. I was downtown, and I got out of downtown because the downtown area was going nuts. I got out of downtown before the celebration began, and I was sitting right here at home in this chair. It's like when the Badgers beat the Kentucky Wildcats. I didn't go to the Final Four that year, and instead we had a watch party at Stenny's, and it was shoulder to shoulder. I mean, you could not hardly breathe. It was so crowded. I still have the video of that as the time wound down, and that place emptied into the streets, and it was pandemonium in Walker's Point. I'll never forget that. There are moments in your life doing this for a living where you'll always remember where you were when. You know, being down by the clubhouse when the Brewers clinched to go to the postseason, talking with Dale Swain, being in Philadelphia with all the anticipation, and then obviously it didn't turn out the way they wanted it. You know, there's some things I remember standing on the field watching Ron Dane break the NCAA rushing record. I'll never forget that. You know, there's just some things you do that are moments in time, and you never forget them. I remember to this day when I was a kid, when the Cincinnati Reds beat the Yankees 4 straight, swept them in 1976, and my mom said, "We're going downtown." It was in like the 6th or 7th inning, and my mom said, "Let's go," and drove us downtown. We were on Fountain Square in the middle of downtown Cincinnati when it was safe, and we watched through. There was a bar there. We could see the television screen, and as they won the World Series, my mom wanted to be a part of it, and we had cowbells and everything, and went crazy. In 1975, when they beat the Boston Red Sox, we were at home in the living room watching, and everybody was out on their porches wagging, cowbells and such. I never forgot that. I just there are moments and times when things happen you never forget. So Tucker, great question, because 1 year ago today, the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis dropped a 50 burger and the Bucks win a championship, and it was so magical. It was so magical. Andrew says, what about when Brett Favre threw the interception in the NFC Championship game against the Saints and Paul Allen lost his mind? I was with Jim Lombardo from Bell Ambulance, and we were down at Stenny's as there was a mass amount of people that gathered to root against the Vikings and against Brett Favre. I'll never forget that. And he rolled out and threw that pick, and the place erupted. I mean, erupted. I think it would have killed all of us Packers fans had Brett Favre thrown his way into another Super Bowl wearing purple. We probably all would have melted and died right there. But when he threw that pick, the place erupted. I'll never forget that either. So there's like, Ben, is there a moment in sports history time that you'll never forget where you were?
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles Super Bowl from 5 years ago now.
Okay.
Wow, it's a long time
Nick
ago.
Foles threw that team into the Super Bowl. They win it. Where were you when Doug Peterson hoisted the trophy?
I wish I had a good story. I was sitting on my friend's couch with a lot of my other friends, but I remember the couch and the setting well. I was out when the Phillies won the World Series back in 2008. I was at home sitting on my couch as well with my parents, but then we went out to Broad Street, and it was a scene there back home. I don't have any cool stories because I was young and, I wasn't able to go on the field, but definitely remember the moments.
Okay. Well, but you remember it. You'll never forget where you were, the emotion you had. You'll never forget that, no matter what. So
when Michael Vick threw that interception to Riley Cooper in the end zone, remember that one as well.
There you go. I remember sitting in the press box in St. Louis watching Brett Favre throw the 6 interceptions and just feeling like, oh my God, please make this end. I remember 4th and 26 in Philadelphia when Mike Sherman said, we're going to ride that offensive line to a Super Bowl. And then when they had the chance to punch it in on a 4th and goal, he chose to kick. And the offensive line looked at him like, are you kidding me? Because
that's why you draft a kicker.
Then right after that, B.J. Sander, the punter, was picked up the next year in the draft. I'll never forget that. Never forget it. I remember when Michael Vick beat the Green Bay Packers in frigid weather at Lambeau Field. I was there. I remember when Brett Favre tried to force it into Donald Driver in his last game ever as a Green Bay Packer. And we thought, oh my God, they're going to drive down. They're going to kick a field goal. They're going to win this game. It is going to be fantastic. And Brian Noble and I were setting up in the atrium. Channel 4 from Milwaukee was setting up off to my right. Carol Meekins we all felt they were going to win. She was jumping up and down. And then the pick was thrown. And it was silence. It was people literally laying down like the Hale-Bopp Comet. Everybody had just drank purple Kool-Aid or something and croaked. People were literally laying down almost sick in the atrium, like just bodies of cordwood just strewn about. People just couldn't believe it. And then the Giants went on to win. There's certain things you just remember stuff like that. Just so cool. Just so cool. Let's do this. We're woefully late for a break. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll come back. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
This July at Potawatomi, make your summer even better by winning your share of $500,000 in cash and prizes. For your chance to win, just play with your club card July 1st through the 28th. Over 100 winners every Thursday. So go ahead, book that beach vacation, that up north cottage getaway, or make it a staycation to remember. Your summer just got even better, only at Potawatomi. Learn more at paysbig.com/summer. Must be 21 years old to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back, Bill Michaels Show. We continue to roll on. How's your day looking? Tell you what's going to be a nice day today. I'm going to be heading down when I get off the air. I told you being National Hot Dog Day. Now I got to go back and do the hot dog thing. But got a cigar. I got a golf outing coming up on Friday. A charity golf outing that I'm going to be playing in. So I'm not going to be here on Friday. And then obviously the Buffett concert and such on Saturday. So some cigars are needed. So heading down to Nice Ash today. And if you're looking for something local and you want to enjoy a good beverage, whether it's whiskeys or bourbons or what have you, catch some music on the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's The Nice Ash in downtown Waukesha, theniceash.com, theniceash.com, 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha. Good stuff. Ben, this is from Mark, who says, he says, the top 5 greatest players in Philadelphia, you should recognize their names. Dr. J, Allen Iverson. Don't forget about Wilt Chamberlain. He says Moses Malone. Moses Malone. And then he says Mike Schmidt / Pete Rose. And he said, if you go back as far as some people do, he says Hal Greer. I don't remember Hal Greer. I remember the name. I don't remember the name. So
I don't want to debate his top list of Philly athletes. My point was, when everybody thinks of the city and its sports scene, Rocky often comes to mind.
Right.
That was my problem. And don't get me started on Wilt Chamberlain.
Give it to me. I like Chocolate Thunder, Daryl Dawkins too.
Didn't I already unveil this? I kind of think it's debatable whether he scored 100 points.
Well, I know that.
Oh, yeah, that was my thought.
Okay, gotcha. I wasn't sure about I thought maybe there was just another angst against Wilt Chamberlain in general.
No. Just wondering.
Okay.
I'm just questioning things.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't think anyone wants to hear my actual thoughts on the top Philly athletes, though. Turn the dial.
Oh, my goodness. So there you go. The top, talking about the top Philly athletes, so to speak.
Freddie Mitchell.
Didn't Charles Barkley? He played there too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sir Charles
started his career.
Started his career there for the 76ers, so he could go into that group.
If you want to go one of the greatest football players of all time, Norm Van Brocklin, for all the old timers out there. Former Eagles center and inside linebacker, back when men were men.
Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. Smoking Joe Frazier, too, was from Philly, right?
Yes, indeed. I believe so.
I do like, now bringing up the Rocky thing, there's a website, oh God, I can't remember what the hell it's called. It's a boxing website, and it does famous boxers in different areas. I remember like Aaron Pryor came out of Cincinnati, and he was all that. I mean, he was like a comet. He was really white hot for a short period of time and then ended up getting beat. But it was like Smoking Joe Frazier and Rocky. Now that you say that, I do remember that.
My point precisely.
Yeah. Was Rocky Balboa. Yeah.
He is not real. And there's a statue.
Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. So there you go. But Mike Schmidt.
ESPN Steve, I see your comment, by the way.
Mike,
get out of here.
Mike Schmidt has to go there. So anyway.
Yeah, Mike Schmidt, Freddie Mitchell,
Yeah. Yeah, that's when they picked up Pete Rose in free agency, and it broke the hearts of every Reds fan out there. I'll never forget that when free agency hit and he got a ton of money to go to Philadelphia. Oh boy, that that drove people in Cincinnati crazy. That's like Favre leaving for Minnesota. Now, Philadelphia wasn't a rival. Had he gone to the Dodgers at the time, since Cincinnati was in the National League West, then it would have been crazy. But yeah, going to Philadelphia, I'll never forget. And then to win a World Series there with them. Oof. Let's see here. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so, by all means. But just kind of going through some of the better moments as we're celebrating a day in which 1 year ago, the Milwaukee Bucks hoisted the trophy, the first time since 1971 that they were able to hoist the Larry O'Brien trophy and win a championship. So,
you know, Bill, this sounds kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I will always remember where I was when Juwan Howard slapped Joel Krabenhoft. Like to the minute.
Not one of the biggest moments in sports history, but at least something that's in the forefront of recollection right now. I was sitting down in the bar watching that game, as a matter of fact. Where were you?
I was sitting on my couch.
Okay.
No, we were actually going to go to the game, but we decided against it because the ticket price just went crazy. We were a little hungover. So yeah, let's just watch at home. And the game was over. And we were about to turn off the TV. And I said, wait a second. Someone just tweeted that there was a fight. What could this be? And then there you go.
There you go.
Always remember when Coach K lost.
Right. Yeah. Coach K lost to North Carolina. Lost to North Carolina's last regular season game as the head coach of Duke. This is from Jackie. And Jackie, this is no offense. We're just kind of reminiscing a little bit. I do not want to get into, I was talking about Philadelphia sports just because Ben is from there, but I don't want to do the top 5 sports figures in Wisconsin. It's subjective. It's crap. It's mindless. I know I don't want to do that. There, every year there's somebody that plays really well and everybody wants to, dub him or her the best ever. And it's no, I don't want to do that. Just so you know, no offense. Maybe other programs will do it, but this one doesn't. I can remember really cool moments. Okay. I can do that. I can remember the heartbreak of Glenn Robinson missing that bunny, that short jumper in Philadelphia, where the Bucks could have gone on to face the LA Lakers and Shaq and Kobe in the NBA Finals. I remember the heartbreak of having the NBA pull Scottie Pippen off of that plane to say you've been suspended. I remember all of that. I remember traveling there. I've got great stories from Philadelphia from that experience. It just, I don't want to do the top 5 thing. Whatever. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break, come back. Final segment of the Bill Michaels Show, wrapping it up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
I hate being late to the ballpark. You just missed a home run. Gina Della from Pella. I can't believe my seat is next to yours. Peanut? I'm allergic to them.
Aw, nuts. I'm always late to things. No one procrastinates like me. The worst is that I missed out on that incredible deal you were offering at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Missed what? It just started. Get beautiful Pella windows and pay no interest for 4 years.
That's the one.
Imagine the money you'd save by not paying interest for 4 years.
Okay. Don't rub it in.
Rub what in? The deal just started at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Seriously?
Yep.
You're just making an exception because you feel bad for me.
No, for real. It's hard to believe that a deal this good exists, but it does. You just missed another home run?
Oh, this is too important. I'm trying to find the website on my phone.
It's PellaWI.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hey, don't forget about our friends at Sloppy Joe's out there on Hubertus in Hubertus, an old-fashioned, authentic Wisconsin pub and eatery. Love that place, or the new place which they redid and is just beautiful. That is Smoke on the Water in Okauchee Lake. Either place, Joe and Ellen Hennis have done a fantastic job in doing both in fine fashion. By the way, and if you are looking for an opportunity, we'll say, maybe make some more part-time cash, they are hiring big time, and they're paying serious money too. That's the best part. They're paying a lot more than a lot of other people are. I don't want to give out the numbers, but if you're interested in being a server, a bartender, a cook, what have you, or just you're a young kid looking to wash some dishes and make some money, they're paying. So big time. Check out Joe and Ellen Hennis either at Sloppy Joe's in Hubertus, on Hubertus, or head out to Okauchee Lake. It's lake life, baby. Head out there at Smoke on the Water. And either place, great places to go to, great places to eat at, party at, drink at, listen to music at. But also, if you want to work, they're hiring. Like a lot of people are, but they're hiring and they're paying some good money. So good stuff there. 877-867-1670. If you want to chime in, by all means do so. This is from Nicholas, who said, Bill, did you see the statement from the president and general manager at Road America? Yes, it's true. They are going to Chicago. We've been talking about that all day, Nicholas. Yes, it's sad. I understand it. As Dave Kallman was on a little bit earlier, the race writer for the Journal Sentinel, it's business. We don't like it, but they'll be back. I got a feeling they'll be back. Just hold yourself, but it's going to be a couple of years, but I think they're going to be back. So it's unfortunate though. I agree with that. Who's this from? This is our buddy. Who's this? Steve? Our buddy Steve. Oh, by the way, note to the not that we're going to do a lot of Philadelphia sports, but two things that I completely forgot about, Ben. Two of the biggest names. One was Reggie White.
Yeah, caller brought that up.
Holy crap.
I didn't know if I should claim him as Philadelphia or not.
Yeah.
It kind of goes both ways.
He was the master of defense, man. The minister of defense. He gained that name there. So hell yes. And then the other one was Randall Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Randall Cunningham, he kind of broke the mold for quarterbacks. He was the first real running quarterback with athleticism and the ability to throw and do it accurately, and in all of the of Philadelphia, of all the NFL teams. So absolutely, those two guys, big time. This is from Pac Fan said, "Are you bringing back the huddles this year?" Absolutely, we're back. As a matter of fact, hang on a second here. Well, I don't have the list of where yet. But our first one, can you believe this? Our first one is August 25th. August 25th is our first huddle. Man. August 25th. Holy mackerel. And they're all Thursday nights except for November 16th and November 23rd. The 16th, it's because the Packers play on Thursday night. And the 23rd is because Thanksgiving's on the 24th. Other than that, everyone is on a Thursday night every week beginning August 25th. August 25th. The only one that is not going to be, that's not going to take place is, we'll have a huddle, but I think, Ben, you're doing it, is the 15th of September. I am out of town. So that is not going to be an on location.
Ooh.
So are you not here?
Yeah, this can be discussed at a later hour.
Well, then we'll have Ebo do it, or Grant. I got Grant Bill's.
Yeah.
I got Grant Bill's
now
tickets.
We got it.
I got Grant Bill's tickets to Buffett. He can do it, but we'll figure that out. But yeah, there you go. But yes, our first one is August 25th. Site to be determined. But you bet we're doing it. Our buddy Steve says, "Hey, good day, Bill. 1 week before training camp, I'd like to talk a little Packers. Like most, I'm really excited about the new defense. They have a chance to be a dominant defense and get the ball in the hands of the offense more often. On paper, that's the key word now. They should be a top 10 or even a top 5 defense. Also want to daydream about the keys to the Packers' success in the offensive line. In a perfect world, everybody comes back healthy midseason. Think about that for a minute. We could be a dominant offensive line with Bakhtiari and Jenkins on the edges, Josh Meyer at centers, Runyon and Newman at the guards. They added what I think is quality depth with Ryan and Zach Tom. You could see the ground and pound running game starting to come into shape. Aaron Rodgers, what defense would then stop them? Could this be the year that they get over the hump finally with a lot of no-name wide receivers? Lastly, do you think that Christian Watson, the contract will be completed? Yes, I do, by the way. From what I understand, it's about the amount of guaranteed money. Do you think he signs by the weekend? I don't know, but I gotta think he's going to be in camp. There you go. That's it. That's quick. That's the way to end it. On a positive note, good stuff. Good stuff. Back at it again tomorrow. Until we talk again. Time